run it. I can't take no loss. I don't even know what it costs. I hit the ground, then it go off. Yeah, hit the ground, then it go off. Yeah, I can't take no loss. I don't even know what it costs. Yeah, I hit the ground, then it go off. Yeah, hit the ground, then it go off. Yeah, run it. Ooh, I really feel it's my time, think it's my year. Yeah, I really feel it's my time, think it's my year. Yeah, I really feel it's my time, think it's my year. Yeah, I really feel it's my time, think it's my pen ready. Used to hold myself back, my self-esteem been bad. Gotta keep on chugging, ran through everything in front of me. Might smoke bed in heaven, got a whole agenda. Can't aspire to get ahead, so bump that, it's no surrender. Got a dollar flipped up, I'm trying to get it an FT to get them when they're hand and crypto. Learn how to fix that. I don't really hold out of books, but I'ma learn how to fix that. Some opportunities are never come unless you paying attention, so no, I can't miss that. Moving, MVP, I got the record, I might have to pro something. Big jumper worthy, they gon' have to retire my jersey early. Whole crew coming, had to work something, cause I had nothing in my pocket. Yeah, I did all that. Big plans, partners trying to make profits. Yeah, I did all that. Work, sweat, and tears breaking, even no wins. Yeah, I did all that. Had to make it happen. Putting hours in my practice, I did all that. Yeah, I can't take no loss. Yeah, I don't even know what it costs. I hit the ground, then it go off. Yeah, hit the ground, then it go off. Yeah, I can't take no loss. Yeah, I don't even know what it costs. Yeah, I hit the ground.
What's up, family? What's going on? What's going on? How y'all doing? How y'all doing? Welcome in, everybody. I hope y'all can hear me. Let me get back over here to the comments. See what's going on, family. What's good, everybody? Played the Trio Tuesday intro. It is not Tuesday. I apologize to y'all about yesterday, but sometimes life be lifing. Life be lifing, baby. We get real out here. So much to do, so little time, and then life. So there's that too. Let me get in here and start speaking to my family, man. I almost wasn't gonna come through today. I said, no, man, I can't do the family like that, bro. I can't do the family like that. So here I am. Here we are, family. We just gonna get through it. We're gonna work with what we working with. We're gonna rock with what we rocking with. But yeah, boy, a little tired. It's been a lot going on. Been a busy week. There's a lot of stuff. You ever know how, like, it ain't bad. It ain't nothing gonna make you pull your hair out. You know, just you ain't gonna pull your hair out. But at the same time, it's like, well, my goodness, not this too. It seemed like soon as one thing, then there's something else, then there's something else, then there's something else. But anyway, with that being said, still won't complain, because my good days outweigh my bad days. So it's all gravity. Let me get to who Psalm 146. What's up, my sister? Psalm 146, Home and Garden said first. Na Kiswahili moja. Or Kwanzaa. Kwanzaa is actually first. Moja is number one. So a little bit of difference there. Who else we got? Rambo, bruv. What's good, fam? Thank you for being here. Like, we appreciate you. As always, coming through, right? CC's Texas Garden. What's up, my sister? How you doing? Good morning over there in the great state of Texas, baby. Welcome in. Hey, Cherry, hey. Hey, Cherry, hey. Hey. Still got something we trying to get together that'll be an appropriate gesture for your kindness. If y'all haven't seen Hey Cherry Hey video, she made a video and she is, like, I want to say almost the first. I think she might be the absolute first person to come over and support us in our African Dreaming shop, in the store, somewhere down there in the description, or it's in the thing over the chat. You can't thank people for stuff like that enough. Everybody, I mean, just come to mind. Hey Cherry Hey, Gina versus Gina, Bougie Prepper, Psalm 146, and Bean Juice Galore. Man, when folk pick up your merch, it's a big deal, and she's if I'm not mistaken, the absolute first person to do it and made a video about it. So y'all get over there, check that sister out. Cherry, we appreciate you, fam, for everything you do. Sorry it's taking so long to get stuff together. But we got you. We got you. She is Sunshine. How you doing? Welcome in. How you doing? You better get in here and enjoy yourself tonight. Well, morning for y'all, depending on where y'all at. Some of y'all, it might be noontime already. Hey, TLC in the garden. How you doing, sister? Our lovely, lovely moderator. Let me turn this thing on right here so I can see myself, because StreamYard look different than the little fella, than the little chat be going on up there. So I got to turn this on just so I can look at myself. Of course, I would be able to do it on my phone. That's a whole nother story. I have to tell y'all about that here in a minute. Boy, I'll tell you, if I'm gonna beat your ass. Boy, I can't. Get up. Get up here. Now I gotta put you. Where can I put you? I'll put you right here. Dog, I'm gonna scoot this back just a little bit, just a pinch. And then I'm gonna go here. We turn the volume down so I ain't getting no echoes and whatnot. Okay, there we go. There we go. All right, family, we good. We're in the money. I might have to leave y'all in a second to go get my charger, because, of course, that's how life been whooping up on you boy here lately. But it's all good. Indiana Jackson, what's up, family? How you doing? Welcome in, welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. Fed Up American, what's up, brother? How y'all doing, family? How y'all doing? Miss Grace Gines, Fed Up American. Y'all better get in here and enjoy y'allself on this here, I almost said Tuesday. It ain't Tuesday. It's not Tuesday. It's Wednesday all day long. The Virginia Bushcrafter. What's up, family? How you doing? See who else we got in here. Everybody speaking to one another. My sister, Gina versus my sister. Everybody, big sister. Gina versus Gina. How you doing, family? Welcome in, welcome in. Lil bro, motivation from the weightlifting geek. Say he driving, but he in the bushes listening. It's all love, man. I'm just happy you here, bro. I'm just happy you here. You better get in here and enjoy yourself. And don't let nothing or nobody keep you from it. Hey, Mama Anita. Blue Lotus Vibes by Janita McLean. How you doing, young lady? Yes. See, yeah. Y'all come on in here. I'm gonna have to go grab this charge in a minute before my doggone. I got a little while left. We ain't gonna rush it too hard. Say, before I keep going down through this chat, and before here we go again with another you know what, we're gonna call it Trio Twos anyway, even though it's Wednesday. On this week's conversation for the day, because I'm delayed. You boy, we're tired. Like I said, a lot going on. Anybody who as messed up as I am and sleep 3-4 hours here a day, it catch up with you after a while. You kind of crash, especially when you're dealing with a whole lot of life stuff. CC, put it in there again. Now you got BCAC. You got the hashtag CC, but you got to put hashtag BCIAC. Yeah. And when you get done doing that, that's what else I was gonna say. I ain't gonna hold it against y'all. I ain't gonna hold it against you at all, but I sure would appreciate if while y'all dropping them hashtag BCIACs, y'all go ahead and share this live out. I would share this live out, but one of my devices is, I ain't even gonna hold it up and show y'all. I'm surprised it's still on. You ever had your phone get run over? Yes, by a vehicle. Yeah. Oh boy, life happens. Life comes at you fast, boy. When it rains, it pours. Yeah, sure do. She said, "You heard me." I said, "You better get in here and enjoy yourself." She is sunshine. That's what I threatened. That's what I said. Yeah. Virginia Bushcraft still in here. Thumpaholic Fishing. Welcome in, family. How y'all doing? How y'all doing? Uh, sure want y'all to be a part of this conversation. We'll see how things go. Thank you, CC. I appreciate you, family. Um, we're gonna talk a little bit. I can't even share out my own doggone live unless I, for whatever reason, certain devices it's like, oh, community, this feature doesn't, and then my phone. Hunt the good stuff. Hunt the good stuff. When life is giving you lemons, even if you BSing yourself and everybody around you, doggone it, make some lemonade. Just make lemonade. Just make lemonade. Kind of like this apple juice I'm drinking right here. Uh, Stay Stace. What's up, Stay Stace? How you doing, family? And Miss April Showers. How you doing, Miss April Showers? Welcome in, welcome in. Yes. Uh, who else we got? I hope I ain't missed nobody. Hope everybody in here. So, I guess I ain't gonna wait too much longer, y'all. I'm gonna mention my normal mentions. Uh, it's easier to catch up with y'all East Coast folk than it is with West Coast folk. And I be doggone one of these days. Me and Pooh Bear gonna get it together. Me and Callie Homestead with Pooh Bear. We've been missing each other, but Pooh Bear, if you out there listening or if you hear, I'm gonna try to get back at you at a decent hour for you. Yes, thank you, Thumpaholic Fishing. I appreciate you, family. Thank you for that. Thank you. Thank you. Uh, yeah, a little bit off with the time difference there, cause she on the West Coast, so it's harder to get her sometime. But anyway, I'm gonna start with her. Callie Homestead with Pooh Bear has a event coming up. I'm still working on getting a specific so I can put that in the. What's up, Tech Money? What's going on, fam? How you doing? Uh, get that in the rotation so we can remember to speak on that, promote that, because I think what she's doing is amazing. Anytime people out here um, taking it upon themselves to put together meetups and uh, ways for content creators to take it from the virtual world to the physical world, I think that's amazing. So, and not only, we've been rocking with Pooh Bear. Pooh Bear been rocking with us for a long time. So we're grateful for that. And that's something we want to push. In fact, y'all can go over to Callie Homestead with Pooh Bear and I'm sure get more information than I'm even providing right now. And when you get over there, tell her African Dream is sent you. Yeah. Uh Aston 85 and Tech Money. And okay. Yeah. Thank y'all for being here, family. We appreciate you. Thank you. And of course, as you all know, it is crunch time, grind time. June, so we got about a week, some change left. Vision preparedness, June 2nd. There you go, right there. There he go, right doggone there. What's up, my brother Vision? How you doing, family? Just getting ready to talk about Bug Out Weekend, June 2nd through the 4th, with my man Vision Preparedness over there in Ohio. Right there. Celebrities. I hate we ain't gonna make it because you got first off him, and then you got Gina versus Gina, and all these other YT celebrities are gonna be showing up over there, and I don't know if they're gonna be doing autographs or not, but hell, I don't know. I don't know. Now you might want to try to catch them. Get you an autograph from Vision for Preparedness and Gina versus Gina. And I hope, and you never know else who might tip up and pop up on up there, man. It's a lot of nice content creators gonna be up in there. Hey, Tamika Davis, how you doing, family? Girl, you better get on in here and enjoy yourself. Come on in. Come on in. You welcome once, you welcome twice, you welcome. You sure will. And June 16th, it's a regular meetup with a regular gun guy. And here we go again. If you in Georgia, down there in Thomasville, then guess what you get to. I'm sorry, y'all. I keep tangling up every time I turn my head. Need to get retwisted. A couple of them keep wanting to be homeless and twisting up together. She talking about she trying to get some autographs. She trying to give out autographs. Thank you, TLC in the garden. Thank you. I think tech department is a little tied up right now, so I'm really winging it solo. So, sister, not that I don't always, but I sure appreciate you today, honey. Other than that, y'all just would. It'll be a whole lot lacking in this live, probably. Yeah, I think Fed Up gonna be there. Y'all get to get autographs, man. Boy, I'm telling you, I don't know what Vision gonna do as far as a red carpet, child, but my goodness, all y'all up in the get your gear, come and learn. Share. Let me put this on here. The Virginia Bushcrafter said, "Get your gear, come and learn, share knowledge, and just have a blast." June 2nd through the 4th, Ohio. That's right, Virginia Bushcrafter. That's right. Astatine said the Angry Prepper was talking about job loss projections to AI through 2030. Oh man, we've talked about that before, and we got more information about that coming. This right here is relative to that. It kind of applies, but what we talking about most specifically is they hiring. I said they hiring out there now. Y'all just you notice I didn't say me. I didn't say are we lazy. I ain't start speaking French. Damn it, I know I ain't lazy. I've been working since I was 12 and been on somebody's payroll since I was 14. I'm talking about my mama had to say I could work X amount of hours a week because I was that young. And that's just on payroll. That ain't got nothing to do with, mowing yards and raking leaves and hauling junk for people and all that kind of stuff. Tech Money said everything will come to a head real soon. Be prepared, be ready. Yeah. Watch Them Ninja said, who is hiring? The people. Them. What's up, by the way? Welcome in here, We Them Ninja. Welcome in here. Get in here and oh, thank you, Mama Nita. Thank you. See, that's why we gonna have this conversation. I gotta put what my girl said up here. They claim to be hiring, but are they really though? And if you will do any minute amount of research, it can really make you wonder. Because from what I've talking to family, people on the internet, just doing research here and there, it's like a lot of these companies, especially in service industry, food sector, it signs up everywhere. Yeah, man, we'll hire you for $11,000 a month for with $73 start on hire on bonus and all of that. Can you start next week? But a whole bunch of people ain't getting called back like how you would think it would be. Now I don't know if that's based on resume quality. I don't know if that's based on work experience. Hey, Yaya, how you doing, sister? Yaya's best life. Yaya, you better get in here and enjoy yourself. You sure better. You better come right on in. By the way, shout out. What's up, Tim? You've been doing your thing over there. You've been having some great interviews with some lovely women. I mean, all the way back to Lashes up to now. You just keep them coming. That's another thing. Who said this? Virginia Bushcrafter. They sure will. They hire you and then they cut your hours. And then to get hired with any form of quality benefits that's a whole nother that's a whole nother thing. That's a whole nother thing. Oh man, I got something that I got to get. Gosh dog it. I'm gonna have to get with tech department here in a little bit because I have some content that I need to run for y'all to get everything understood. But it's also more about why aren't people. Oh man, you know what? My phone busted. I don't even know if I can. Nope. Hold on. Let me try this. Yeah, y'all. My phone got ran over. Y'all see what y'all can't even see what my screen look like. It's too blurry. I'm hoping that after I have the screen changed out, I can access everything again without having to completely wipe it, which I almost did earlier. See? Shoot. Anyway, yeah, yeah, I forgot all about that part of the conversation, man. I forgot all about that part of the conversation. It's actual videos that I wanted to put up here and give some. You know what, y'all? Let me get my charger and I'm gonna see if it's any way if I can get these documents up here real quick. What's up, Liz B Journey? How you doing? I mean, yeah, I'll be right back, y'all. Talk amongst yourself. Keep each other company, but don't go nowhere. All right, family. I'm with you. I'm with you. I am here. I'm back. I'm actually trying to get something re-downloaded so maybe I can get everything sent back over. You know what she said? Cause life. That's how. Let's see. Yeah. Now, how did you get his phone ran over? Cause life be lifing, and you know life will whoop up on you sometime. Thank you, Mama Nita. I know. I appreciate y'all. I just got so discombobulated and hey Shanna. Hey Shanna, what's going on, fam? How you doing? Better get on in here. And hey Jason. And thank you for that, brother Vision. I think I might be able to pull this off after all. I don't know how y'all live. I know a whole bunch of y'all young folk, so y'all don't really ever have no memory issues and stuff. You ever have so many doggone passwords and so many accounts and so much this and that that you can't always remember something you want to log back into because you're on a certain device and you just pop on in there. What's up, Tim? What's going on, brother? How you doing? Tim, I ain't see y'all of it. You were putting something together the other day, and I know you did a live from work. So even if it ain't but 5 minutes or however long I got, I hit that thumbs up, man, and I try to watch and support for as long as I can. But man, it's been rough on your boy here lately. By the way, like my man Vision said, y'all please hit the little thumb thing, uh I mean not hit the share it out. And what's the other one? Oh yeah, come back and put your hashtag BCIAC off in there. You sure can. Now, see, this some good. See, these concepts and stuff we talking about. I'm gonna start with the Virginia Bushcrafter, and I'm gonna work my way on down. He said, if at all possible, work for yourself. They will never pay you what you're worth, and never pay more than what you make. The U.S. is supposed to be a capitalist society. Make as much as you can. I don't disagree. I mean, anything you can do for yourself, from if you a plumber or an electrician, then you can be your own contractor. If you got your CDL, you might start out with a company, but you know, stack that bread and get that rig, man. I mean, insurance is crazy for the rig, for the trailer, for the load, and all. It's complicated, but that don't mean it can't be done. If somebody else doing it, that means you can do it too. I really hope I can get this video going, get this content that I want to share with y'all up, because in my research for this, I mean, you know how you already know something, but when you out here busting your chops to other people, you kind of need to have some visual or tangible or something materials to help reinforce that belief or whatever. Cause y'all, it's wild out here, and folk. Not only not just work. First off, anybody in the chat, y'all let me know who work from home. Any of my work from home people, or if you don't work from home, my folk who wish they could work from home, because they trying to take it back. They trying to get you back on that commute every morning. Yeah, we gonna get to that. Gina said, I've seen a lot of service industries lower the hiring age because people want to get paid but don't want to work, if you know what I mean. Yes, it's a little bit of that too. It's parts of all of it, and that's what make these conversations so good, because it ain't just about what I sit up here thinking. I want to know what other people think. We all live different realities to an extent every day, and we got to make it some kind of way, because you know, if you ain't got no income, you ain't got no roof over your head in most circumstances. So let me see what CC said. CC said there are many jobs that ask for those. Oh, that's another part of it that I would iffy on if I wanted to get into that, CC. But since you done brought it up, hell, can of worms open now, baby. We can talk about all of it. Back cards or medical excuses to hire. Nothing way to keep people. Another way to keep people. I do not disagree. I do not disagree at all. There she is. Hey, Callie. Callie Homestead with Pooh Bear. I was talking about you earlier. I said, I was telling these folks, we gonna get together one of these days. We keep missing each other, but we gonna get it. We gonna get it together. Like, who was that 702? Get it together. Get it together. One of these days we gonna get it together. We gonna actually be awake at the same time. See, this is what I'm talking about. And I got a whole lot of different reasons why I think people feel that way. I would love, I don't know if you got time or not, but I sure would love for anybody, even if y'all got a few minutes to hold on, I think it's finished downloading. No, it ain't. Yeah, it is. Uh she is sunshine, even if you just gotta put it in the chat. Tell people why you feel that way, because after conversing with a few people, I think I understand and just listen to other people's points of views and perspectives. For one, you get to spend time at this place that you paying either rent or a mortgage at, so that's always a plus. And then it depends on the personality too, because some people are extreme social butterflies. They need to get out and be amongst the people, and they like standing at the water cooler, busting their chops, and maybe bringing coffee every once in a while for everybody and stuff like that. But I don't know if y'all know this, man. Commutes alone are $1 billion industry. I didn't say one specific part. Together, collectively, commute, especially if you living in a major urban environment. You know somebody got your commute fixed into their budget, like in real life. Everything from the places you stop at in the morning to the amount of fuel you purchase for your vehicle, uh, to the um, and this is something else that's very important and starting to really impact downtowns and major cities in a lot of places in the country are failing. Uh, God dog it, and I deleted the other one too. My goodness. Okay, it's over. I should have kept it. I should have kept it. I should have saved it. Dang. Okay. Uh, yeah, I should have saved it. It's all good. It is what it is. Um, yeah, yeah, but it's 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 an industry, and a lot of downtowns are ghost towns now. And when you talk about now, if you know what your mortgage is or what your rent is, no matter where you at, you know what it is. Now think about somebody renting an entire floor of a skyscraper, one of them skyscrapers you see every time you on your commute, if you're not driving to it to go work. Man, it's not uncommon, especially if you take somewhere like New York, for a a typical monthly mortgage to be like $130,000 to lease this space. Well, guess what? They still empty, and they've been empty since 2020. Businesses are starting to default, or just return properties back to the original shareholders and or mortgage companies. So that's happening. I see Tim said he thinking about getting a work from home job. He exploring his options. I understand, bro. It's something that people kind of got backed into a corner 3 years ago, and they had to make some real life choices, life decisions. Some people may have been in better circumstances, and they were like, "Yeah, I'll work from home from now." And then they start seeing a lot of people seeing the benefits of it, and a lot of people don't want to do that no more. She is Sunshine said, I'll pass on going back to the office. I want to figure out how to be able to work remotely and maybe work remotely internationally. And that is what's up, fam. That now real talk. In fact, I'll say this. One of the biggest things that kept more people, because literally hundreds of thousands of people actually worked remotely, and the only difficulties that I understand people had issues with internationally. Some companies just wouldn't let you do it. They just wouldn't let you do it because they already knew that's what a lot of people would want to do. And unless you go to a country with a strong fiber optic infrastructure or whatever, it might be some issues with that. But for the most part, man, it's like it's too easy. It's too easy. A lot of people doing it. I just, my goodness. Let me see. You know what? I might be able, if I go to delete it. Who? Let me go down in this chat real quick. I'm gonna come back up here. I don't know if anybody got time to come up here. I'm gonna drop this link because I'm missing y'all, and somebody might have time to come up. So, because I don't like a whole bunch of dead air while I'm trying to get this other stuff together. Let's see here. Copy you and then close you out, and then come up here, and then go down here up, and then go down here, and I'm gonna paste you. I'm gonna paste you right there, and then I'm gonna show you out. I'm missing all these good comments because I'm trying to do a couple of different things, and I don't like missing folk. I want to hear what y'all got to say. So anybody who is available and want to share their thoughts and or comments, you ain't even got to get on the screen. You just got to let me see you. Let me see you backstage and just wave at me, give me a thumbs up or something. Throw a squirrel at the screen, anything, so I know you're a real Herman. Okay. Well, there we go. All right, you good? Okay, yeah. Oh, look, these two gentlemen. How y'all doing? Welcome up.
Should have known.
What's going on?
What's going on, everybody?
Hey, Vision, you beat me by 3.3 seconds.
Are you sure? I think it's more like 1.5.
It was close. Thank y'all, man. I'm doing good, brother. How y'all gentlemen doing? And what's y'all opinions on this?
I'm gonna have to catch up because I had a call come in, so I missed like the last 15 minutes. But I wanted to get caught up so I could participate.
Yeah. So
okay.
I work from home, and I have been for the last year. And my whole team is scattered across the U.S.
Yeah.
And our corporate office is in another state as well. And 90% of our whole workforce is remote.
Right.
And I find myself being more productive because I have a 25-step commute every morning.
That's beautiful.
So I can, I start work earlier, and if necessary, I'll work longer.
Yeah.
Because we got, projects going on and all this stuff. So it's easier, to spend more focused time working. And that's why I got to stay away from y'all, because y'all be dropping topics that just, make a brother scratch his head and be like, see, here they go again.
Now I'm going to say this. My shirt may be blue, but right now I'm feeling slightly green with envy. Just to paint. Just to paint. Because I wish I had that luxury. And my wife works from home, and I'd be jealous every day. Because I got to get up and drive and all. Yeah. So if I had my way about it, I could work from home, I would.
I understand, bro. Yeah. And Sister Gina, what say you, ma'am? How you doing? First off, thank you for being here, young lady.
No problem. I'm trying to get my headset acting right because it's not
Phone
connected.
disconnected.
Okay, go ahead.
Hold on.
Yeah, hey, go ahead. Take your time. Hey, what's up, 10? Welcome in, The Educated Natural. How you doing? Anybody else I may have missed when I was trying to I'm gonna get to some of these comments. Joe, I know you doing your thing. You can't really watch the screen, but Vision,
I got
anything?
you.
Okay, anything that I might have missed that might stand out to you, sir? Uh, uh,
Hey, Cherry. Hey, welcome in. Good to see you. If African Dreaming did not speak to you,
yeah, she had stepped away and she came back.
okay.
But thank you, Cherry, for coming back.
Hey,
We
Cherry.
appreciate it. Yeah, something else that, and I'm really trying to find this, man. I wish I had that content because I made a whole video, put it together. Y'all know how I do the videos on here, but
Right.
something else that I don't think get discussed enough is there's been an increase in workplace violence, and
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't think that gets enough acknowledgement. And the bulk of it I see when I was researching this, because I've seen so much of it. I'm like, okay, this happened in Ohio, this happened in New York, this happened in Texas, and whatever happened out in LA or something like that. And then out little town, small town America, all in between. And it's like, bro, there's people out here literally using deadly assault over French fries and stuff, man.
That's right.
Yes.
So that like some people, it will make me question what level of interaction I would want to have with the public day in and day out, because man, it's real out here. It's real out here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
So I was just now, y'all told me some of y'all benefits to what y'all think about the benefits of working from home versus going to the office and whatever. But I'm gonna start with my sister Gina. I want to get all your thoughts and opinions, including my last question. Have you been aware? Have you noticed the increase, the uptick in some of the assaults that's happening at drive-throughs, at counters, with everyday service workers, customer service, small clinics and hospitals and all of this stuff? But please go ahead, sis.
In my opinion, yes, you do. I am seeing it. I think that's the thing. We see it now because people have cameras. I don't know if it's necessarily an uptick, because I think people have been flipping out of these places forever. But I work in the office. Y'all know that because y'all see me in my office sometimes, and I'm in management. And my staff. So I think I only have one person that currently doesn't work remote at all. All my other staff does either all remote or they're hybrid. They're remote most of the time, but they're in the office sometimes just to take care of a few things. Listen, it's probably about 75% of y'all who work remotely, who have jobs that allow for you to work remotely, need to be in somebody's freaking office. Because y'all ain't getting it done. Y'all think y'all are, but you're not. You're not getting it done. You got too many distractions at home. Unless you live completely alone, you have distractions. Now, like Vision said, sometimes he works later, maybe sometimes he works earlier. If you aren't in management, we shut that down. It's a liability on a company for you to work outside of your 8 hours a day that you are being paid to work. Because as a company, if you work outside of that, the company has to pay you for that. And we have done that. We found people doing it. Like, just to make sure our booth is clean. So all companies probably don't do that, but this one does. So it's like if you were in office, you have to get it done in your 8 hour window. Just because you at home don't give you the freedom to stretch it.
Right.
You still have responsibility.
Yeah.
So I mean, to each his own. I know it's a convenience of being at home. I can work either way. I choose to work in the office, but I have equipment at my house that if I was at home, I could log in and do my job. However, I feel like I'm more productive here because there's less distractions. I have a child and a husband. And if they see mama's at home, there's always something. So I'd rather be in the office because it eliminates some of the distractions. Are there distractions when you leave your house? Absolutely there is. But there's not the same as if you're just at home. Also, I get that, there's less and less reasons to want to leave your house because of the kind of crap that's going on in the world. But when we had to be in our house, we had all the reasons to not want to. So come on, people. We can't be, we all over the place. We all over the place. Like, people was all up in arms to being stuck in the house. Now, I wasn't. I'm a homebody. So when they said shut down, I was like, don't threaten me with a good time. Me and my husband are homebodies. We was good. But I'm like, we want to leave our house when we want to leave our house. That's where it comes into. When you had this topic and I saw the topic, I was like, there's a little bit of laziness in that. Because nobody wants to work. I have to tell my 26-year-old this all the time. And she's like, good, being a grown-up is, this is dumb. Like, who wants to do this? I said, you think I want to work? If I didn't have to, we got to work to take care of stuff. Nobody wants to do this.
It's a trap.
But you hope that you at least find somewhere to work that you're not miserable going into every day. Because I've had that before. But you try to find somewhere you're not miserable going into it every day. And it's not stressful. It's not like you're carrying a weight to do it. But the thing is, if you're going to do it. Like, this half doing it is for the birds for me. I have and these people, most of my people have been here 10 years or more. And the amount of stuff I've been encountering, I had to tell a lady today, because we have a lady going out on maternity leave. She's probably, I think she might be our youngest employee. She's going out on maternity leave, and I have one of my people trained to back up her job. So she comes to me today and she said, well, who's going to do my job? Lady, first of all, this is my approach. I said, we'll take it day by day. If you feel like you can't get to your stuff because of this helping out with this other stuff, we'll figure that out. However, you do realize me taking your stuff away from you and giving it to somebody else who's still expected to do their job is now being expected to do their job in some of your doing. So if they can do it, why can't you do this other job in some of your job too? That doesn't make sense. But this is what we and these aren't young people.
Right.
Most of the people are older than me that I supervise.
Right.
So it's like, there's a little bit of laziness in that.
Yeah,
I think a good point.
I just love having all these different points of views and all these different like lived experiences and stuff, because as I was going through this, I think about my own life, and then I talk with others. I noticed that, like, I think it's a little bit of everything. Like you said, Gene, it's a little bit of laziness, it's a little bit of adjustment. And I'm gonna add this in too. And I know it's complicated for you as a manager, but I think it's a little bit of resentment from a big majority of the population, because everybody was thrust into these circumstances in 2020, and now they out of force, they've adapted to this new way of life, this new concept of life, and I think it's hard to go back. I think, like you said, for some people, it's like you a homebody, I'm a homebody, but for a lot of people, it was a real struggle for them to not be around people every day, because that might be all they had. And even a lot of those people have reached the point where they like, nah, you know what? I'm good. I like this now.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna order my Grubhub, and I'm gonna take my lunch at 12 on the dot. I'll order it at 11:20, and it's knocking on the door, and then I got my hour, and I gotta log back in and do whatever y'all work at home from folk do. So I think it's very habit forming, and I don't know. I'm gonna pose this question to everybody. Do you think that it'll ever go back? Because right now industries are really pushing for people to get back into those office jobs. Like I said earlier, it's $1 billion industry yearly. Downtowns are being affected because without the office building upstairs, ordering 200 or 300 coffees a day, they going out of business. So they can't keep their lease. And then, people not stop dropping stuff off at the dry cleaners like they used to. People not living that everyday downtown life like how they used to. And it's having a real big impact. So please, any of y'all jump in and tell me, what do y'all think?
So
going forward?
here's my viewpoint, because I've been on both sides of the table during the whatever that debacle was in 2019. The job that I had to go to work. We were not allowed to work from home. Okay. So driving to work was like, I'm legend, because ain't nobody on the roads, ain't nobody on the highways, 1 or 2 cars.
Yeah.
I'm tripping out, and I'm like, what is going on here? And you got money in the chat, Jay. And
what? Oh wow. Yeah, man, I'm so far behind.
That's okay. You got a whole lot of, while you looking for that, you got a whole lot of folks that came in. David Corey with Crop, welcome. Jason Hewlett. The Winning Walk with Krista. Good to see you.
Yeah.
Blue Lotus Notes. G Mama Groves. Get
What's
on
up,
in here and sit down. But, and then when I had the opportunity to work from home, because I'm salary employee, so I'm at the will of my director and my vice president to get it done, no matter if it takes 2 hours or 15 hours. So the first thing I noticed when I started working from home was less stress. I don't have that crazy drive in the morning. I'm not spending the gas money, which was about $100 a week, because they jacked up the fuel prices.
Right.
And I found myself working more longer than 8 hours a day, being more productive. And now that I'm home, I have a rhythm, as if I was in the office. My alarm clock still goes off at the same time. I get up, I do my thing, I make my coffee, which I couldn't do when I had to go in the office. I had to drink their nasty coffee. So, now I'm home, I'm doing my coffee, and I get to work. Before I'm even technically supposed to start, I'm working. So I see both sides of the table. But the thing that I did notice when I was forced in the office and everybody else was coming home, then I'm going to shut up. All of the places you would go to lunch were either closing down, or you had to wait forever because they didn't have the employees there to work.
Yeah, a lot of places did delivery only. Yeah,
right.
Yeah, let me get Ask the Team real quick, and I'm gonna come back to the conversation. I want to say thank you, Ask the Team 85. They said, but I think laziness is more like quiet quitting, as Kevin 247 says.
Yes.
Kevin 247. I think I heard of them before. Let me get you right real quick, Ask the Team, and there we go.
Go ahead, George. Get it.
Yeah.
There we go. Thank you. I appreciate it. And everybody who came in, Miss Maria Graham, Warning Sky, them come up in here. Like he said, my man David Corey with Crop said, with your chest. My brother Jason Ewing, folk up out the Pacific Northwest, sliding up in here. Yeah, Joe, what you think? And then I got a question for Gina as well. I'm kind of like, especially, I'm glad I got some tech people up here, and then I got somebody in management up here. And well, you know what? Y'all respond to the last
Yeah.
question before I add too much more to it.
So so I think that Vision says something really important because I don't know if I would be good working from home. And I'm gonna
Right.
use the analogy that I use with fitness. I bought 40-pound dumbbells, um, had them in the house, under my bed, access to them whenever I wanted them, perfect push-ups to do my push-ups, all that stuff. Everything got dust on it because when I get home, I get comfortable. I got to go to the gym because I know when I get to the gym, I go there to work. I'm not there to be comfortable. So, what Vision said is so true. In order for you to be productive working from home, you have to be disciplined and you have to have a schedule. And if you can do those things, then you can be very productive working from home. But kind of like what Gina was saying, for the 75% of us that think we can but can't, we ain't really getting but so much done because we're not capable of it, if that makes sense.
No, that makes perfect sense, man. And
Yeah,
I
it
mean,
does.
I appreciate your honesty because that's part of what Gina was alluding to. Everybody is different. And one thing I know, anytime you believe it or not, y'all, anytime you've managed people, you get to understand each personality. Now, I'm not a parent, but you know what to expect from each person. You know what they gonna do and what they not gonna do. And every now and again, they'll surprise you. But uh, if that's just not in your character, or you need that getaway to like you said, Joe, be productive. That's just what it is. So I think this is something that companies are working on currently, and they'll have to work on in the future. So I agree. The next part of my question was, do I've already asked, do y'all think it's coming back? But uh we in a different form of, you've had the industrial revolution, and then you had workers fighting for wages and weekends off and insurance and all this kind of stuff. Do you all think that this could be one of those next things that is something that is truly organic and that the people mandate in a way? Because some people don't mind it and some people want to get back to it because it's a good thing for them. But some people like, okay, I done tasted this for 3 years. I ain't doing it no more. And in fact, like you had ATM Tim in the chat said he's one of the people who's exploring going into that. So what do y'all think about that?
I think from a company standpoint, there are some companies that I do believe will get to a point where they realize it's cheaper and more economical for
That's right.
everyone to be work from home
There
because you
you go.
don't have the buildings and the rent and all of these other things that you've got to take care of. So I think eventually it is going to get to that point, and I hope it does, and I hope I'm able to do it because I at least want to say I tried it.
Yeah. It is, and I'll let Gina go ahead and talk, but it companies are finding out that it is more economical for employees to work from home, but they have to hold them to task so that productivity does not slip. That's the key.
Yeah.
Yep. Which is more work on the management.
Correct. Absolutely.
Mhm.
So it that's one of the things that I deal with. I have to kind of I like Jay said, you get to know people's personalities. So I know the people that I have to watch their productivity. And I'm gonna tell you, if you're working from home, you better believe somebody's watching it. Somebody
Yes.
Oh
is.
yeah.
And even if they're
Absolutely.
not, they have the capability of doing so.
Yes, they do. Hello.
And just because they may not have pulled you to task on what they see, be careful about that too, because I have people that I'm just watching and taking notes. I might address something that they need to be doing work-wise, but I don't address it in a way of, well, you haven't done X, Y, Z, but I'm keeping afoul of all those things. Because I'm telling you, a lot of people think that they are, this is where it's at. Yeah, it's a convenience in it. Don't get me wrong. If I didn't have to leave my house to go into the office, which sometimes I've had days where I didn't, it's a convenience in that. But I know when I'm there, I have to get stuff done. I still have to get stuff. It's unacceptable for me not to. And everybody doesn't have that same thing in them. They're just like, well, I answered a few calls. I've been sitting here. I did some paperwork. I have a person that I know for a fact that she goes every now and again and just moves her mouse to a couple screens and ain't really doing nothing. I just be sitting at her chair sometimes in the office because all companies may not have this, but ours does, where everything that they do on their computer at home, I can see on the monitor in the office. So I sit at their desk sometimes and I'm like, now she done been on the same thing and ain't done nothing. I've been sitting here for 30 minutes. Like, come on. So, sometimes y'all the focus ain't there. It ain't there. But my boss is adamant that he doesn't want to bring everybody back into the office. It's not even a matter of cost for us because we have a building and he's not getting rid of that either. We just moved into this building. In October, at the end of our fiscal year last year, we moved into this building. And so we're going to be here for years. We in a lease for, I think, 10 or 15 years. I don't know. But he likes the fact that with not having everybody in the office every week, every day, I guess you could say, it kind of lowers the chances of if there's something going on. If, say, there's an uptick on some kind of virus, people are less likely to get it contracted around the office if they're not there. I think that just was the lesson he took from the pandemic, is that, we figured out that we thought we were an industry that working from home was not going to be ever a thing. Well, we figured out it is. It's doable. So now that the industry has figured that out, it's like we know who needs to be in the office if certain things happen, and it's only like 3 people in the whole office that if they weren't there, things might go awry.
Right.
Unfortunately, I'm one of them. Unfortunately.
Okay, Miss Tiara.
I'm not even taking that as it's like when I take time off, I be like, y'all could this not wait till I come back? Like,
Gina, you stay at work. And if you ain't working, you probably be working from home. And then when you flying for work and doing all, you always working. I ain't mad at you. Yeah, you do. I want to speak to Diversity Love. Welcome in, family. My brother GT Jr. Groves in Alaska. And John said something real interesting too. I'm gonna say this, and then I'm gonna play a clip for y'all. I had the video ready, but life be lifing on me, so all that happened.
Right. You're right.
He said, John 7:4 said they are developing. Let me put it on the screen as well for those who can see and listen. John 7:4 said they are developing AI apps to monitor you now. And Gina said she know for sure. She got folks, they walking up to their desk, pushing their mouths 2 or 3 times and going back watching Family Guy. So, yeah.
And I don't have to go to their desk to see. I have to go there to see that, but I can monitor their productivity from my desk.
Right.
See that?
He's right.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Y'all,
Right.
I'm gonna play this clip for y'all because this is the other side of why I think some people may be interested in working from home, may be motivated to if they never have before. Because I've known a whole bunch of people. It's in all over Texas. Call centers and stuff like that have always been big industry, but now people call centering from home. And I don't want to forget what Gina talked about as far as uh some of the recent diseases and infections that are encouraging employers to do exactly what she just said. But I'm gonna play this real quick, family, and I wish I could show y'all the video. Now, this video is actually from, I think it's about 3 years old, 4 years old. But when I said it's on the rise, and Gina, you said something about that too. You don't know if it's always been that way or if we seeing it more. And that's something we can talk about on the other side. But here we go, family.
Us, I'm Wendy Ryan.
And I'm Jamison Euler. You have seen the video here. A man attacking a female McDonald's worker in St. Petersburg over a straw.
And all new at 6, that employee talking from her lawyer's office just minutes ago to ABC Action News reporter Heather Lee. Heather?
Well, Wendy, Yasmin says she hopes people don't think differently of her. She wants everyone to know she is not an aggressive person, but she had to defend herself.
I didn't have no control of my body when he grabbed me.
It's video causing outrage around the country, showing 41-year-old Daniel Taylor reaching across the counter at this St. Pete McDonald's, assaulting an employee.
Like, I'm scared. Like, why are you grabbing me? I just didn't understand, like, what was his intention. Even though we were having a verbal conversation, I don't think it was that for him to grab me.
Yasmin James speaking about.
Now I gotta pause it right there because I gotta say this and give some context. My intent and my purpose, and y'all forgive me for being lacking in that area. So this is a grown man. Apparently, for whatever reason, I'm sure a lot of y'all know, like example, we lived in the Pacific Northwest. A whole lot of places went strawless, and if they had straws, they went strictly to paper straws. All of this stuff went down about 3 or 4 years ago, and he was mad because he wanted a straw out in the lobby. They didn't have one. They started having words and stuff. He reached over the counter and snatched this girl, and she's literally about, regardless of him being we're not gonna make this a race issue. It ain't about race in this regard. It ain't about male versus female. It's about employee dealing with the public. I don't want to use the word versus, but he snatched her up like a rag doll, pulled her over the counter, and she started getting butted at work, all in his ears, all on the left side of his head. I mean, she gave him that business. But my bigger point is, I've noticed over the past 2 years specifically, I can really say like the time we've been over here, when I do watch content, it's odd to me that these types of issues, they get put in the entertainment section. But then that's where that sociology starts to come in and the human connection. And I'm seeing something, but I don't see the professionals talking about it to the degree I think these things should be discussed. There's an escalation in violence in work-related settings regarding the public and employees. And I see it growing. It seems like every week. And I'm going to finish letting this play, and then I'm going to get y'all thoughts on the other side.
Before you do that, Jay, check the chat. You got a super sticker.
Oh, okay.
Hey.
Okay. Hold on.
Yeah.
I appreciate y'all, man. I'm so far behind. I'm at
You all right, bro?
Oh, there it go. Oh, hey, Cherry. Hey, thank you, sister. And I got to get back to some of these comments. Any comments that stand out to y'all, please remind me, because I'm going to try to go back up and get all of them. But thank you, Hey Cherry. Hey, I appreciate that, my sister. Let me get Hey Cherry. Hey, right. I'm going to try to make this man legs tied tonight. Let's get it, Joy.
There you go.
Thank you for that. And I don't know if tech department shared it out or not. I apologize, y'all. I have a busted device, so I can't even share the live out right now. Everybody who has, I thank you. If you just came in and you enjoying the conversation, please feel free to share the live out. We're gonna finish this up, and then I want to hear from my people.
About the incident for the first time since it happened New Year's Eve. She says Taylor was mad there were no straws on the counter, and after being attacked, James had to dial 911 herself because she said management didn't know what to do next.
Basically, what's the procedure to the scene? It's none.
It's why she's now working closely with her new attorneys to hold McDonald's accountable, saying they need to do a better job training their employees for situations like this. Yasmin hasn't been fired. They say McDonald's has welcomed her back. She doesn't feel safe.
It's like scary. Like anybody can do something to me. Like I work so close with the customers. Now that everyone knows, and people don't agree with this, they can do anything.
Now, we did reach out to McDonald's again today. I had several questions that I put in an email to them and also over the phone. They did tell me that they were looking at my questions and that they would get back to me as soon as they had the answers. For now, we're live in Pinellas County. Heather Lee, ABC Action News.
Now, I'm going to say one thing before I hear from my panelists and everybody in the chat. I just want to say, look here, y'all. A lot of companies can be held liable if there have been ongoing situations on a particular business or at a particular location, if it's a chain or a franchise, and corporate or the owner fails to do anything about it. And I'll say this, when we lived back in the city up in the Northwest, I wasn't playing with them folk, man. My wife's job wasn't too far from the crib. And I don't give a damn. I'd have left mine out here, baby. Something going on. Let my wife call me and tell me she under a desk or this didn't happen or that didn't happen. And like we got Gina up here, she in management. Man, some of these folk crazy. Now, and y'all correct me if I'm wrong, but 15, 20 years ago, I don't remember people pulling that thing out on one another just because the line was too long or they hadn't been seen within 30 minutes or this or that. And I think all of those are contributing factors into why people are seeking other methods of employment, i.e. work from home. But let me say, what's up, Sassy? And what's up, Nate the Great? Good, my brother. But y'all go ahead, please jump in. I want to know what y'all think.
I think you're 100% right. I think the society in general has become more impatient. I'm driving 2.5 hours away from where I live for a work conference, and I ain't gonna tell you how many times my blood boiled with cars I ain't never seen in places I ain't never been before. That's just the way people are these days.
Right.
So this possibility of working from home has some advantages for everybody in a lot of ways.
I think this goes back to the comment I made about when I made the comment about companies, some of the servicing industries lowering the hiring age of employees. It was because I have a niece who works at McDonald's, and when she started working there, she was only 14. And I remember telling my brother-in-law, like, I don't like that. I don't like the thought of a 14-year-old working with adults at that age, and it's not a program that's bringing that age into the workforce. They're just going straight into that workforce. Especially and the sad part is it's really an especially for our girls, because the least protected person, I don't care at what age in the industry, and it just is what it is a Black woman. So as a Black girl, I was not comfortable with it. Now she's been fine, unscathed, nothing has happened, but I wasn't comfortable with it. But I also have, outside of her, I have 2 friends who have daughters who are in the range of like 15 to 16 who work in fast food, not McDonald's, other chains. But I have had conversations with them where they have just talked about, oh yeah, she has to open yada, yada, yada. I'm like, wait a minute. When
Yo,
you say
what?
open, when you say
What?
open, do you mean that they have a key?
What?
Yeah. No, ma'am. If you don't go up there and make sure that your child turns that key in, your child should not be opening up no restaurant for nobody's business. She is a child. Like, what if somebody runs up behind her or whatever? This is why that kind of incident can happen at McDonald's with that girl that you just played the recording for, and management not know what to do. Because her manager could have well been an 18-year-old who has no training or no experience, and all they care about is having a body because
Exactly.
they're desperate.
And Gina, before Vision adds to the conversation, I wanna say something that and we're gonna talk about this too. So you've had a few meat packing plants, and you've had a few Mickey D's actually, who have been cited recently for having people as young as 10 years old um being employees. And
Mhm.
certain states have recently lifted some of the old child labor laws. Two states specifically, I won't name, y'all go do your own research, and when we have that conversation, I'm just touching, this is the tip of the iceberg, but it's a very real thing. And when you're dealing with potentially tens of thousands of dollars or a couple $1,000s in what may be an unsavory neighborhood, can you imagine a teenager opening and being responsible for an entire establishment? Like, what the heck? Come on, bro.
Exactly.
Come on.
Exactly.
That's a lot of pressure. That is a
Or
lot of pressure.
closing. Or closing. There should be not. If you have a teenager, your teenager should not be closing an establishment.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead, Vision. Then I'm gonna
They
add something.
first of all, yeah, they have child labor laws in place for a reason.
Mhm.
And
Yes.
it is to protect our children.
Yes.
Second of all, there is a plan. This is just my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
There's a plan by they, which I'm still trying to find they, have put in place to attract these younger kids because they understand that, number one, the workforce is getting older. Number two, people are tired of the BS by being treated subhuman.
Yep.
And
Yep.
number three, so now they're going to target the kids to get them pulled into the rat race.
Mhm.
So
That's it.
child
That's
labor laws are in place for a reason.
Yep.
And I agree with you, Gina. 14-year-old opening? Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Opening or
And-
closing.
Yes.
Opening or closing. And I'm
Let-
gonna say this, man. I'm gonna add my when I was younger, and I'm gonna age myself here a little bit, but I started out doing other things as well as working in fast food and stuff. Look here, man. Most of the people who were now, if I'm like 16, 17, yeah, you had some people in their 30s and 40s working there. A lot of them, some may have been people who may have been immigrants, and other people may have been people who just didn't have a lot of education for whatever reason, rough life, whatever. But now, something that I've witnessed over the course of my life, I've seen a transition. The dough greeter was always just an older man or older woman, maybe wanted a little bit of extra change, or they was kind of something to do with keep busy type thing. Man, there's people out here in their 70s and 80s still out here getting it because they got to. They
Right.
got
That's
to.
it. That's
Right.
And with
it.
what, go ahead,
Yes.
sis.
No, I was agreeing.
Yeah. And with what Vision just said, it sparked that in my mind because everybody gotta eat. So now there is, I think, a very specific focus being placed upon the youth to get them in the game, because this is something now we done heard for the past 10, 15 years. oh, the world is overpopulated. The world is so too many people. It's this and that. I think it's not only is that not true, I think it's damn near the exact opposite because uh America is aging, like Vision said, so is Europe, so is a whole lot of other countries, and that's something that ain't being talked about enough either because anytime you gotta go out and get the babies to do stuff, uh it y'all, I'm telling you, just hot grease. I don't now I mean it depends on how you grew up and it depends on the culture. I'll give you an example and I'm gonna shut up. So over here, I told y'all a whole lot of people cook outside. Folk cook outdoors in the evening time, especially if they don't have propane or a stove or something inside the house. It ain't no big deal at all to see a 6 or 7-year-old starting, maintaining, and keeping a very serious eye on a fire that they done started. They know how to put it out, how to block it, how to do all this. But you can't go from growing up with an iPad your whole life and then be dealing with hot grease. We ain't even got to talk about intruders or invaders or people coming in doing nothing to them. Kitchens can be dangerous. You can slip and fall. You can bust your kneecaps open. You can pour hot grease all on yourself. You working on a hot grill. These are environments that it's just not. I don't think it's child friendly. But um I'm gonna say this: what she or Sunshine said. In a sense, you can say it's male versus female because he wouldn't have been balls enough to try and snatch a man. Now I'm just under the assumption, and I don't know that fella, but I'm thinking if I was standing there with me being me, he might have
Right.
bust his gums, he might have bust his chops. But if you gonna snatch all of this over a counter, baby, you better be getting ready. You be ready to be snatched all the way back the other way. And
Got
she
Show
that
ain't
right.
gonna want it.
Same.
Show enough. I'm right here. I'm right here.
Yep.
Yes,
Same.
sir.
I
Yes,
I
sir.
would have snatched him real quick. I'm that person. I have to catch myself sometimes because I'm that person. Because I would have snatched him up like, how dare you
Yep.
put your hands on her?
I'd have done it anyway.
Yep.
Right, right. And she was very small. I mean, she wasn't no taller than April, man.
Right.
She was a very small little lady. And in fairness, I don't know what all was said, but when you
Right.
decide to reach over a counter and grab somebody, especially a woman that much smaller than you, this is just one of the many examples that prompted me to have this conversation in the first place. Because now, whether we think that warrants it, and life happens, and you got to move on and do this and do that, where could that child ever work again where she got to deal with the public? It'll never not be in her mind that this is a possibility. This is a possibility. And there's other
Right.
videos that I couldn't add and couldn't show. I tried to find the most clean of the one. Okay, of the ones that I could find. Man, this folk who done straight ran up in some of the eateries and pull them things out over
Yeah.
French fries, y'all, over
Yeah.
ketchup and stuff like that. And they wonder why they can't find people to work for them.
Yep.
So, yeah, but
Well,
I want to know what y'all think. Go ahead.
now we talked about this the other day, but I think all of this also goes back to why you have the normal restaurants now offering $20 an hour for employees and so on and so forth, because everybody's scared to work
That's right.
because they're
Yeah,
dealing with the public.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't I do not disagree. Gina, can you see that comment?
I,
Let me. Can you see it?
I didn't see it. Hold on.
Well, let me read it to you. Aston 85 said that Gina versus Gina, you might want to monitor people odd hours. Too many people will make up time if they have medical situations that pull them away from their desk. Huh. Okay.
When you say medical situations, I don't know what that means. Do you mean like appointments or something like that? But whatever it is, they have to be communicating that with me. It doesn't matter what it is. If something's pulling you away from work, if you were in the office, you have to communicate that. So you got to communicate that regardless of where you're at.
Yeah. Yeah.
It doesn't mean that you can't step away. You just need to be letting me know something is, or somebody there, somebody who is taking care of the situation. You let them know, hey, let my boss know that blah blah blah. That's I don't
Right.
know where anybody is that don't have to do that. I don't know.
Right. I just dropped the link. I just dropped the link in the chat for anybody else who want to come up. I just want to say this is where we at, family. This is what we doing. And I will say this too. When it comes to something else that Vision alluded to, so when we talk about a decent liver, because we still trying to figure out who they is, if they gonna do right by the employees, fair is fair. Now there are certain companies. This is one of the things that blew my mind. This is one of my probably second or third to last job when I was just taking care of my mom while she was in hospice and whatnot. So could you imagine this is how some wages are, and it's a whole lot of people like me with 20 plus years of manufacturing experience, mechanic experience, welding specifically, and all of this. I literally was making less. There is a burger place, a very popular burger place in the Seattle area, and even down in Oregon. I ain't gonna say their name, but they was paying $2 more than I was making as a seasoned welder. As a seasoned welder now,
Yep.
$2 more at a burger joint, and you can't catch the parking lot empty. You can't not catch nobody there, man.
Right.
Lines all in. So what I'm saying, some people get it. Some employers get it. If you treat and pay your, and then you starting out with insurance, you starting out with dental, you starting out with like it's crazy. And yes, you have people my age, younger and older than me, who filling out full blown resumes trying to get on because word has spread about how this particular chain treat their employees. Yet you have some of the biggest Fortune 500 or less, and you got to be there for 90 years before you even get vested, and you ain't got no 401k, no nothing. It's crazy out here, y'all. What do y'all think about that?
Yeah.
It is.
It is.
I mean, here in Ohio, McDonald's is paying $22 an hour. And some of them are giving a $500 sign-on bonus if you're there for 3 months. You get the bonus.
Yeah. And it's not just those type of industries either. The hospitals are doing the same thing. They're paying more and offering bonuses to sign on.
Yeah. And it is skilled labor, in my opinion. That's something else that I think the definition is changing as time goes on, because the whole idea of skilled versus unskilled labor is really starting to I think the tide is turning, because with the ability of the internet and this and that, y'all, I'm gonna tell you, I done had a whole bunch of jobs in my life, and one of them that I put in the top 3 is working doggone fast food, for real. Cause when you got 3 or 4 homeboys who work at the same spot and they might be roommates or something, y'all got to pay that rent. Well, what if you got a crew of 6 and only 3 people show up or 2 people show up? You end up working anyway. So you learn how to do 3 people's jobs with just 3, and then the manager see you doing that. And guess what? The manager, it's that's just business. Y'all know how business goes. But when you show sometimes company, and I got a manager up here, so Gina, don't get on me too hard. But when you show somebody, that you can do 6 people's jobs with 2 people, then guess what happened? But when those 2 people get gone, then you got to start all over again. It's just it's a lot, man. But
yeah. And see, I was not in I was nodding. I was shaking my head yes as you were saying that, because I love to see it when people show that kind of initiative, and they get rewarded in my eyes. Like I keep
Yeah,
every time an opportunity comes up, they're the first person I'm thinking of.
Right.
yeah, yeah.
And that's how it should be.
That's
You
the way
want
it
to
should
look
be.
for people who show that initiative.
You
But
you
then
are the kind of man.
you have some.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead, bro.
Oh, no, I was just gonna say. I think basically the same thing you were gonna say. You have some managers that use that opportunity as a way to reward employees, but then you have others that use it as an opportunity to make it easier for themselves.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And see, this is where some of the disconnect happened, and
That
where
is
where it all,
bad.
yeah, it get all mixed up and all topsy turvy, because you can have a manager like a Gina, and people accuse you of, oh, you just love the company, you a yes man, or you a yes woman, you just working hard for them folk and this and that, which I understand. But what the part people oftentimes forget is, I'm not doing this for the company per se. I'm doing this to help support her, because she's always supported me when I needed her. My wife was a manager, and I done saw her go up and above and way beyond, and
Yep.
make stuff happen and make stuff work for people. And those who tried to repay her with either additional effort or whatever, or coming in if ain't nobody, like, just all kinds of stuff, man. So we
Yep.
living in it's an interesting time right now with regards to employment.
It is. It's a very interesting time because, I think that part of the problem is we gotten so caught up on people having like certain degrees for some jobs, and we all know it was a point where degrees were there, to close some doors for some other folks. But
Right.
now that a lot, it's like everybody's getting degrees. They still ain't getting jobs though, and now they got these degrees. Well, one thing you can't teach people is common sense. You can have all the book smarts in the world,
That's right.
but if you just because you book smart don't mean you could get things done. Because
Right.
can you think off of something other than that book? Yeah, you got all the terminology, but can you think
Yeah.
Yeah.
and make
Right.
stuff happen?
Yeah.
Can you
Practical
pivot when things
application. That's right.
exactly? And a lot of people can't do that. Some of the stuff that comes to my desk, I be like, because I'm like, it was stressing me out having to answer questions for people who should be able to answer them for themselves. So now what I do is I turn the question on them. Well, what do you think we should do?
Yep.
What would your
Yeah.
suggestion be? What would you normally do in a situation like this? And make them think it through, because it's like you're capable of coming up with the conclusion of how this needs to go. Come to me with what your suggestion is, even if it's not right. Come to me with that.
Yeah.
Don't just come with questions all the time. But some people, they have to be a little bit handheld, and that's because we hired that person who has all these accolades as far as degrees, but they can't do the job. That paper that says that they graduated doesn't say they also can do this job well, because it's not like they worked in the field. You don't, all that book stuff that they do. One thing I learned about colleges is a ripoff, because I didn't go until I had already been in the workforce for quite a while. And I'm like, I'm not going to use about 60% of what y'all are teaching me in my work. I don't
Right.
care about that 60%,
Right.
but you still want me to
Right.
pay for it. So a lot of that stuff they're not even going to apply. However, even with the stuff that they're going to apply, it's going to be different based on where you're working at. You could literally be in the medical field. You could literally be a nurse, for example. The job that's required of you as a nurse at this hospital may be totally different from what the other hospital wants from their nurses. And now you feel inequipped because you're like, well, this is how we did it over here. So now you feel like you didn't know something because you have to be trained to do the way that they need it done at another place because they require more of their nurses or whatever the case may be. But I'm like, people have to be able to pivot to that though. Like if you come into a place and like where I came into the job I worked, it's undegreed. It's unteachable. There's no course to learn how to do bankruptcy. You learn on the job. So the training for the job for most of the positions can be up to a year before you're expected to really comprehend and retain all that information.
Right.
So if you are the person that can't do that, I mean, don't put yourself in a position to take something that you just are not going to be equipped to do. Because then it's the thing is, well, I saw somebody type way earlier about, them hiring and then, putting you to part-time. Sometimes putting people to part-time is a way of them kind of pushing you out the door.
True.
They're dropping some things off because they want to push you out because you're not giving them what they need as an employee for that job, and they don't want to just straight out fire you because it may look like it's not for the reason it is.
Right. That happens too, and I think that's gonna be something that's more that's gonna make a comeback, or potentially I can see it a little bit. Y'all know I heard about this one. I was talking to somebody one time. It was old country boy. I think he was I don't know, he might have been in the military at some point, whatever. So true story. So what I had heard, he was talking to somebody. Now back when what was he telling me back when he was in, and I think he was a crew chief, right? So some of the most extensive like training day in and day out, you live and breathe this doggone aircraft. And that's back in his day. According to him, he was old Army, right? And so you had 6 months of that's all you live, breathe, did, touched, talked about, whatever. And then come to find out years later, they done dropped it down to 6 weeks. 6 weeks and you done, and you get all your training when you get to your unit. Your unit teach you all, and back then you had to go back up. You had to actually fly in the same aircraft you've been working on it. So you better have been paying attention. You better care about what you're doing. Look, this whole everything's changing, and I wonder how you all who, me and April over here, we do our own thing. That's hard enough. Believe me, if you ever try to open a company, unless you start out rich, if you ever try to have a business in another country, that's a whole nother beast. But from the things that y'all see day in and day out with regards to this work from home, if you got people in the chat, like way earlier, it was Tim and somebody else said they either doing it or they really thinking about it. Do you see it growing or shrinking? I asked earlier if it was going to go away, but I'm going to ask, is this something that y'all really, really think people are going to push for, and how does it affect the market? How does it affect y'all?
It's going to grow, and it's going to affect, the thing is, people who aren't willing to step up and do some stuff now because, they don't want to deal with certain stuff. The thing that the opportunity that remote work offers is you to hire. I'm in Ohio. We can hire somebody in California to do this job remotely.
Right.
So now because you don't want to do in Ohio, somebody in California is now going to get that pay for an Ohio employee. So be careful about what you ain't willing to do if you need to support your household.
Correct.
Very true.
Yeah.
And Gina, with that, like you said, if you hire somebody in California, more than likely you may pay them more because the cost of living is higher.
Right.
Right.
That's true.
Right.
You may.
Right.
Astatine 85 said some people pretend they don't have common sense though when they want to wiggle out of something they don't want to do.
True.
As for our suggestions, we're not paid for management. So I don't know. I don't. I'm not sure what part of the conversation specifically you was responding to, Astatine, and I apologize for being behind in the chat. I want to say what's up to Seek Amethyst and GT Junior said this. Can you think on your feet? That was once a question employers would ask. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I will
Go
say
ahead, bro.
this from a tech standpoint, because of what I do, there is not as big of a window for me to be able to work from home. Because during the entire craziness, I never worked from home. I work for a small county. It's just myself and the IT director. And there's some switches and routers and hardware that you physically got to be able to touch.
Got to put hands
Right.
on them. It's true.
Right.
So I see it becoming blended. The county commissioner, they actually suggested during that time that we flip-flop. One person be in the building 1 week, the other person work remotely, and kind of a hybrid like what Jenna versus Jenna was saying. So I can see those kind of things increasing because there are so many advantages for everyone involved.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And speaking of another not advantage, but another potential element to this, thank you, Odom's Homestead, for being in here. And I played that video earlier. But look here, family, this is something. Now, I don't know if y'all hearing people say this. I don't know if people talk to y'all about this. I don't know what all kind of content you enjoy, but this is a growing sentiment. The only place I feel safe is home.
Yes.
And I'll give a quick story. And welcome in to Seek Amethyst. Anybody else I may have missed coming in the chat.
Miss Shirley O.G. Gardner in the house.
What's up, Miss Shirley? How you doing? Welcome in. Y'all please share this live out if you.
Hey, Mama Shirley.
You don't mind. Yeah, Mama Shirley. I appreciate y'all for coming on in here. I'm gonna say this. So there was a time where, because I was out for a few months when we first got my mom back to Seattle, and my focus was her. And I was spending a lot of time with her. And when I was at home, I was usually with my mom. My mom, one of them, I ain't never seen no woman just love baseball and the Weather Channel like how that woman did. And Lifetime. I'm serious.
Right.
But we would spend time together. She want to watch TV, that's what we doing. If she want to try to cook, that's what we doing. If she feel like going for a walk, that's what we doing. So I don't know if y'all remember this, between 2019 and 2020. Now, it happened in Colorado. We were there. It happened in Seattle. We was there. It happened at a few other places. Do y'all remember people being angry and going up in medical facilities and just having bang bang sessions at regular everyday jobs?
Yeah.
Like, this is still happening right now, but it's being limited and more discussed on local news and local levels and stuff. So as I watch these things, as I observe these things, I kept myself in a state of readiness to be whoever and whatever I needed to be to get my wife out of whatever kind of hell she was going on dealing with at the moment.
Right.
But when Odom said what he said, that hit home for me, because I hear more and more people say that. Now, is this something that's on y'all radar, or am I just hyper vigilant in that because of the kind of life I've lived? Or is this not really a conversation back in the States?
Conversation for sure.
I tell you, from my perspective.
Hey, Miss Sheriff Faulkner, go ahead, bro. Andre Southgate.
I stay strapped, period.
Yeah.
Everywhere I go, if I walk out my front door, whether I'm on my property or I'm in my truck or wherever I'm at, I am ready. My head's on a swivel. situational awareness, because you never know what may kick off wherever you're at, especially if you in Wally World or Lowe's or HD or wherever. You got to stay ready because there's crazy folks and they mad at the world and they don't even know you. And I don't want anybody to end up being collateral damage.
Right.
That's it. Now, I completely and totally agree with Vision, and that's one of the reasons why I lift weights and all these other things is physical preparedness and that kind of deal. But I don't go anywhere that I got to sit with my back to a door. I refuse to, because I need to know what's coming so I can do something about it.
Right.
Right.
And I teach my kids that. You go in a restaurant, you do not sit with your back at the door.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, I just got to tell you, man, after a while, welcome in Miss Sandra. Sandra living a full life. And I think I said Andre Southgate. I got to go back up to something TLC has said earlier. I got to try to find that. But after a while, y'all, it does something to you mentally, because you're not supposed to be living like you in combat arms. You're not supposed to be living like you on a battlefield. And I know my home state got a whole lot of issues and a whole bunch of folk don't like it. And I get that. But man, like everybody got them things down there. Recent laws have been passed, and it's a whole different monster. You got to be vigilant, family. You got to be like Vision said, head on the swivel. Like Joe said, be aware of your surroundings and peep game on what you got to peep game on. But when you got to be somewhere for 8 to 12 hours a day, I don't think. Okay, let's just use teachers. We just gonna use teachers for a moment. Y'all know they fit in classrooms with foldable, completely round-proof rooms. Like they fold out. They fold out during an event. Everybody know what I'm talking about. During an event, and the teacher and all the babies can get in those or inside. Indoors. You know what I'm saying? Like, if that's what some jobs are thinking, then what the hell are you thinking about when you go to yours? Is what I'm saying. Like, and this ain't to place fear. This is about having a conversation and just having people. Because I'm gonna say this and I'm gonna shut up because I want to hear everybody else's thoughts. But we really, really have to consider and think about what it means to have an upset customer or a bothered tenant. If you're a homeowner, or you might be a landlord or something, or just the way that we interact with each other now in 2023 versus the way a regular disagreement or a little bit of anger used to go, it's two completely different things. But
Jay, I'm gonna tell you something. You talking some serious facts now, because it used to be you got into a verbal conversation that may have heated up just a little bit above 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit. The worst that was gonna happen, well, you're gonna come out with a black eye. Man, you might not come out now.
At all, bro. Yeah, that's real. And please, I want everybody to understand something. I mean this with my whole heart and my full chest. It's not about living in fear. It's about living in preparedness. It's not about walking in fear. It's about walking in preparedness and being conscious of your environment, your surroundings, whether it's worth it or not worth it, whether you're going to do this or whether you're going to do that. But there is a reason that more and more people, even with some of these enticing offers, because I was looking at food service and hospitality as well as the medical sector, and Gina brought that up. She was like, hospitals too. Hospitals giving, man, some of them hospitals giving up to 5K sign-on bonuses.
Yes, they are. Absolutely.
Facts.
and people still ain't getting them. People still ain't
Right.
going because whether we talk about it collectively or not, some folk be seeing what's done happen and they just rather do something on Etsy or try to find a hustle where they in complete control and they can just be at their house or like this is a real thing that's happening and the world ain't talking about it yet. But listen to me now, believe me later on, because I think in another 2 or 3 years, conversations like this gonna be more and more prominent.
Right.
The
For
only
sure.
way for us to all be remote is if we just allow AI to do the other stuff. You can't have it both ways. Either you have AI running the grocery stores, all the servicing stuff, or people gonna do it. You can't have it both ways.
Right. Come on, Gina. Come on, Gina.
And
Come on, Gina.
and the question is, when we get to that point, are we willing to become prisoners to a certain extent because we never leave our homes?
Exactly.
Woo.
Right.
Woo. Man, family, I'm telling y'all something. This just my opinion. This old, well, it ain't a super old movie, but it's old enough. I want like Ready Player One. That's the name of it. Ready
Yeah.
Player One.
Yes, I've seen
And
it.
and now this is where I start, like a book I read a long time ago, and other opium dens where people would just literally be there for days, weeks if they could, because their mind was just in another trend. And I'm not knocking it on because I love technology. I think technology cool. But when you just put on a headset and you get so entranced and so deep in it, you can't tell the virtual world becomes your real world. Your physical body is somewhere doing something, laying there, farting, doing whatever you're doing. But like Gina just said, you can't have it both ways. It's gonna have to be one or the other. So as we have a growing dependency and certain things that may or may not be on purpose keep happening around the world and in our country and this and that, like what do we do with that? Because I love fresh air. I love going outside. I love being outdoors. Who gonna take care of them goats and them sheep and who gonna cut down trees for firewood? Like somebody got to be outside. Like Joe said, somebody got to push these buttons and it's a flip. Somebody got to manually switch. So y'all, I think things are deeper. They at a turning point potentially, and they at a precipice. But I think we all got some real decisions to make, family. But what say y'all? Hey, what's up? Hey, Odoms, take care. And hey, Martika, how you doing? Welcome in. Welcome in.
Hey, Martika. Yeah, I wish somebody would come here and cut firewood. I'll keep you here for a week or longer. Please.
Well, now there's another option to this thing, and I don't know how deep we're gonna go into this conversation, but when you start getting to the point where you have built robots to do the manual labor that you can control from your home.
Oh, you cut out on us a little bit.
Go ahead, Joe.
There you go. Say it again. You cut out a little bit.
Oh, my fault. What I was gonna say is there is the angle of this thing of building robots to do the manual labor that you control from home.
Right.
Yeah.
But could that be the downfall of society also?
Oh yeah, I definitely think so. I definitely think that. I'm just saying that is an option that I think some people will try, and that will create a problem.
Yes.
It will absolutely create a problem because how many people does it take to control something from home? It don't take that many. It's like screwing in a light bulb. It don't take that many.
Yeah. But and something else that gets me, because I don't know which way it's gonna go. We just having a conversation, and I love everybody who's involved, who chipping in the chat, as well as all our panelists, Gina versus Gina, Motivation from the Weightlifting Geek, and Vision Preparedness. But I will say this: what a scary world for me personally when because Gina said something that I believe. Have I ever met her in person? No. Have we had conversations? Yes. Does she seem like a kind, loving person who's responsible for me eating these Boston baked beans right now? Yes. With that being said, what happens to society when the inter and intrapersonal elements are completely dissolved? Because, you know, it's like, I don't know, man. It depends on the circumstance or situation you in. You may be a service member or something, and people, man, you crazy as hell. You doing it. And maybe, probably, yeah, a little bit, but it reaches a point where I don't work this hard because I'm doing it for Uncle Sam. Maybe people work that hard because they doing it for each other, the brother and sister to their left and to their right. Like that same thing happens in everyday job environments. People don't pick up slack because they just a company man or a company woman. They do it because they doing it for each other, because y'all been working together for 3 or 4 years. And you remember when old Sally had little Johnny and that's their first kid and you happy for
Right.
them. So you work a little bit harder. And they remember when maybe your mama passed or daddy passed or something. So they picked up the slack and worked a little harder for you. What about when everything is just ones and zeros and it ain't no compassion no more? That's scary as hell to me.
That
But
part.
what y'all think?
I agree. I don't even have anything to add. I agree.
Okay.
That
I
part.
just
You
want-
said it well.
Yes.
We got some comments, and if any of y'all can see these comments and y'all wanted to touch on some of them, because I'm like, I had to go down because I was just too far behind. Astor
Yeah.
1085 talking to Miss Cheryl said, my best friend from school does home nursing, which I was thinking about a minute ago. Does home
Right.
nursing and loves it, tries to cheer up the grumps and usually works. But she doesn't go through an agency, so she doesn't get moved around. That is an interesting concept because we do have these physical bodies that we live in that need care by somebody, because I believe in this old saying, once a man, twice a child. So
Yes.
that's why no matter how strong my shoulders and back might be and how big I look or this or that, one day, baby, this body, if I live long enough, gonna be feeble one more time. And it's
Yep.
gonna need somebody else one more time. How do we manage that
Yep.
with the
Yeah.
way we going?
Yeah.
You better get you one. You know, like Gina, I think Gina said earlier,
That's it. Yeah.
you know, hearing Columbus, the hospitals are giving nurses anywhere from $5,000 to $10,000 sign-on bonuses.
Mm-hmm.
And these folks will not take these jobs. And I think it's because what they saw and or experienced during the debauchery of 2019 to 2021.
Yep. Yes, sir.
Yep.
So,
Yes, sir.
there
Nursing
it is.
shortage.
Yes.
Nursing shortage. By the way, New York rescinded some of its opinions and allowed a lot of the medical staff back to work. But you can't. It'll take a generation to erase the emotions behind being cheered for one day and demonized the next.
Correct.
And I think it's long lasting. People ain't forgot yet. Out of sight and out of mind don't always make stuff go away, because a lot of people had important decisions to make. And this is another thing that potentially happened when you can go from your years of expertise and potentially be the word escapes me at the moment, not a trainer, but what you call them, not a mentor. You can consult from home.
Right.
So I'm finna go in where and why and stuff like that. It's just, Miss Shirley, can you wave at me real quick backstage? You ain't got to have your camera on. I just need real quick. It's been okay, there you go. Hey, young lady. your beautiful self. Okay, you turn your camera back
Hey,
off.
Jay, you can I was gonna say I'm gonna drop because I got a meeting to get to because
Okay, okay.
I've been up and I'm gonna be in and I'm gonna be out. So if you still here when I get done, I'll come back up.
Hey man, say less, bro. All you got, I would drop that link, sir.
Y'all,
Thank you for coming
Have
up.
a good
y'all
day.
stay blessed, be safe, have an amazing day, everybody. And by the way, everybody in the chat, do me 2 favors. First favor is if you have not hit the thumbs up button, please smash the thumbs up button. And second, I need you to share out this video because this man is talking about a crucial topic that everybody that breathes and is standing upright, sitting, or laying down horizontally needs to hear. Thank you. I love y'all. Stay safe.
Yeah. Have a
Thank
good
you,
day.
my brother. Thank you.
Jay, can I say something right quick?
Miss Shirley, you can say whatever you want to, whenever you want to.
Well, thank you, babe. I retired from working at a hospital. And before the pandemic even hit, like especially during flu season, we got a lot of seniors, a lot of handicapped people that came in. It's called burnout. You can only work people for so long and so hard. We're already working 12-hour days up front as it is. And then for you to stay over, especially during the wintertime when there's bad snowstorms, other nurses can't get in. They want you to stay over to pick up the slack until they show up. And then when they ask for a day off, they're denied. If they need vacation off, they're denied. Every time they ask for a little something back, they get denied. So there's no give and take. You know, you either work it or you don't. And then when you say they ask you to work overtime and you say, no, I got something to do, then they want to make it mandatory that you got to come in. And it's like, we got a life once we leave up out of here, you know, and they don't seem to care. Administration don't have to deal with the headaches and the problems. They always sending down new regulations and new rules, but they're never there if they don't work. And then we are the ones that have to deal with it and make it work for us. And I got nurses right now, friends that are traveling all over the United States because of the bonuses and the extra money. But that's all they're doing. They're not living. They just going from one job to another, you know, and then the next thing I know, they having heart attacks, dropping dead because they didn't literally work themselves to death. So, I mean, it's like, you know, 6 in one hand and half a dozen in the other. And it's it just blows my mind how they do this. And even for the ones who are going through the AI, where their jobs is all run by machines, you still got to have someone to, like you say, push them buttons. But what happens when they get sick or they want time out? Do they have somebody to replace them, to fill in for them? Or are you going to tell them, no, we need you here to keep these machines running? Just saying.
Very true. Those are important points of view, Miss Shirley. And you know, I have a deep respect for you. You had a career in something that I aspired to and couldn't quite pull it off like how you did it. But I'm just, I sit back and I think and I wonder and I listen to what everybody's saying. I listen to what you just said, and oh my goodness, I'm there's a in my heart. I mean, I already love Gina. Everybody know that. Gina know it, baby. We both love Gina. But it's like we in a place where it's getting so hard for the good people and the well-intentioned people being stuck between sometimes high-level administration and then the people on the ground that you actually managing and dealing with and working with every day. You know, and I just don't know how it's gonna go. I really don't. That's why I like having these conversations, so we can all kind of put our heads together and maybe walk away with something to think about, because we being confronted with a lot of stuff right now. And something else you said, Miss Shirley, is where I saw myself going. I've done too many of those kind of jobs in my life where everything was work. I done missed important stuff that I should have.
Mhm.
I feel like I
Yeah.
should have been there for, and I done seen people do really well and have, you know, the life I thought I wanted. But then they don't, next thing you know, they keeling over. Cause they just they tired, they body tired, they mind tired. Everything is stress. You stressed at home, you stressed at work. Everything is about the next level and meeting productivity. And that don't just go for a manufacturing environment, that go for an office and work environment too. Cause I've been having some interesting conversations lately. And even people I've known in the past, corporate world get gutter too. Management get gutter too.
Boy, mess around with a geek you want to.
But if you notice, in our Garden community, a lot of corporate people have left those jobs and took their 401ks and bought, land and living on their own homesteads. They was like, it was just too much. They kept asking for more and more and more. And corporate is like a sponge. They was just sucking the life out of these people. And they was like, no, I'm not going out like that. I watched my dad, work 40 or 50 years on the job. He might have left his money, but he died. And he didn't get a chance to enjoy the rest of his life. So I'm not going to sit there and follow in his footsteps in that way. I done made me a little money. I made some good investments. So now it's time for me to step out and do something else, something that makes me happy, something that's going to make me a lot more productive, something that's going to give my life a little more longevity to it. So it's from the little man to the man at the top. You're seeing all these changes, and there's going to keep on going, because when people were able to start going back to work, a lot of people didn't. They quit their job. A lot of them started their own businesses. Oh my goodness. There was so many people who started their own businesses so they didn't have to go back to that humdrum jobs. So it just blew up. And now everybody's buying land. They're trying to get away from these HOAs, and some people who are in apartments are finally fed up with the rent constantly going up, and they can't get a light bulb changed in the hallway. You know what I'm saying? So we're seeing these changes on a daily basis, and it hasn't stopped. It's gonna go a lot further. And like a lot of these big corporations, they want you to work from home now. They done found out how much they're saving in parking fees and a building, a space, the electricity, the gas, the cafeteria, the food, all of that. They're seeing the huge savings that they're making. So they are encouraging their employees, upgrade your computers and log in. Like my sister used to talk to me in the morning, log in, go get coffee, come back. I'll talk to you after my meeting. My granddaughter, she works from home. I'm knowing more and more people who are working from home, and it's not going to stop. It's going to get bigger and better. That's why electronics is really working hard on all these laptops, and how long the battery lasts and how you can connect with other people. So yeah, you know about that, right, Geek?
I sure do. And I'm gonna have to drop down. I just got here to this conference. I gotta go check in and get ready for my first class. But I want to say, big bro, Jay, this conversation right here is part of the reason why I love this channel. Now I'm gonna say this. Hey, you welcome, big bro. I'm gonna say this before I go. I don't know how many people know I am on a mission to get this man and his wife to 2K. So if you are willing to get on board with this mission that I got, I need you to share this live out. I need you to tell random folks at the grocery store, there's this man over there in Tanzania with locks. He married to this nice lady, and they do some good stuff on this YouTube thing. Let's make this thing happen, y'all. That's all I'm saying.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate that, man. I really do. I really do. You go to your conference, you make sure you stop by a vending machine, get you some crackers and a bottle of water, boy. Don't just be going in that Thursday.
You ain't lying. Look, I ain't ate lunch yet. I'm hangry, so we're gonna take care of that part too. But much love to everybody in the chat. Much love to everybody on the channel, aka
Have a
Miss
good day.
TR.
Have a good day.
All right,
Uh-oh.
brother. I think he dropped off a little earlier. He want to. Resilient Dad, say
Hey
something
there,
to me real
Brazilian
quick.
Dad.
Hello, hello. How's it going, everyone?
Okay,
Not
that's you. I
bad.
had
Hey,
to make sure it
Brazilian
was you
Dad.
first.
Hello, hello.
And I'm gonna bring up my sister Jones Truth. Young lady, how are you as well? I hope she hear me. Okay, Resilient Dad, brother, please. The flow is yours. Go ahead, man.
Great conversation. I was into it, I think, a little earlier, maybe almost 30 minutes or 40 minutes ago. And Miss Gina, when you were mentioning having like the labor rights and your kids having keys and things like that, I can recall, one of my first jobs, I was 12 years old, and I had to work at the meat factory, right? I was working at the butcher shop. And in order to even get the job, it required my parents to approve. And then to even work the machinery, it still required another approval legally for them to do that, right?
Mm-hmm.
It
Yeah.
wasn't easy to even get the job, but I was so passionate about just trying to work and get a first pay stub, right? Like that's
Yeah.
something that I pursued, and I made sure my parents knew, right? Still had to take care of my homework, still had to take care of everything else,
Right.
chores and all that. But it was one of those things where I realized even to now, it's like, man, you kind of are giving responsibilities to children and you don't understand the level of the environment that it is right now compared to before.
Yes. Yes.
And that is a tricky situation, honestly. It's almost as if, regardless of your age, if you choose to have a job, you have to choose to know how to protect yourself at all times, by
Exactly.
whatever means that is, right? So
Exactly.
I think that should come with that level of understanding first, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And coming from
Yeah.
the right household, your kids are going to be equipped. But, everybody isn't coming from that,
Right.
unfortunately.
Agreed. The other part too, that I believe Miss Shirley mentioned, and also Mr. African Dreamer, you mentioned as well, the corporate stuff and the managerial stuff, the stuff that you don't have to necessarily do with your hands, but you are typing. That world is pretty crazy if you really want to be honest. I feel like that causes more health issues than just your regular day-to-day jobs if you want to think about it. Because it's all virtual, it's all mental almost at the end of the day. And when you go remote, something that has to be said that has been published by Forbes is being fully remote, you're increasing your workload at least by 2 days worth of effort, right? So you have to consume 2 extra days worth of effort to work remote because you have or assume to have the availability to just always be available, right? Or online, right?
Yeah.
And that is, if you don't have the balance, if you don't have the presence of mind, that will drive you out of this world.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
True.
I got a question. I got a question for both of y'all, and I'm gonna bring Miss Jones Truth up, or you could jump in the conversation whenever you get ready to, Miss Jones. But I want to say this too. I was thinking about this part of it now. Now look here. I was okay. So let's say I'm in a situation where my wife don't know where I'm at. I ain't got no way to call her. She ain't got no way to call me, right? From the work from home point of view, I was thinking about this. I'm glad you said that, bro. Cause look here, is it more when it comes to family? Let's say you got an office, you got a real nice office. You in the office, you working, you chilling. But let's say your 3-year-old just want to play kickball real quick. Is it harder to be at work and be missing family, or is it more complicated to have to neglect family that know you in the other side of the house in a room, but you done told everybody, I ain't messing with none of y'all for the next 8 hours. Leave me the hell alone. Go ahead. I'm gone.
That's
So
funny. Great question. I totally agree. There's a difference between me being physically present or out of mind, right? I physically left the house, and then it's another thing of understanding for our kids where it's like, oh, dad is over here, he's offline. He's offline for us right now,
yeah.
it is. I can't say either one is. They both are crazy, right? You should always have time. They're both are crazy.
Yeah, actually, that's a double-edged sword.
Yeah, it's like there's nothing human about that. Period.
Yeah, exactly. Because if you're physically at work, you're not there to supervise and see what your children are into. If you're there, but you're virtual, you're still not, emotionally or connected present to check and see what they're doing. So many times I've seen parents online and the kids are screaming and swinging from the chandeliers in the background, but their mind was focused there. So actually that's a double-edged sword, because either one can put you in a situation where an emergency comes by and you're not there, either physically or connected. So there's kind of a double-edged sword there.
Yeah, I agree. Like you have working remote versus going into the office.
Right.
In the office, right, you have to deal with the commute. You have to deal with conversations, in passing. And you can say that, it builds your network and collaboration or what have you. I don't have an opinion on that. I think that, both works if you want to make it work. But also it's like being at home is different because you're still present in a way.
Yeah.
But also you have
present.
that actual presence that your kids recognize that you are there. You can be there, right?
Yeah.
And it still takes you away though to really provide quality effort into how to sustain your job or how to sustain living, right? So it's two sides to that coin, and I don't think that the third side is going to provide an answer either, right?
Yeah.
It's something that you have to assume for yourself and your lifestyle and what you're capable of committing to. Even when working, for our own companies, it's virtual, right? It's like I don't have to go into my physical warehouse or offices and stuff like that. But at the same time, it takes away time for me being present, right? At home. So it's a trade-off as to what you want to do with your time,
Let me tell you my experience. Oh, go ahead. My play daughter, she had a baby and she was working from home. And I went over and I would sit with the baby, and I had to go into another room because her customers was complaining about hearing a baby in the background crying. So after the baby got used to me, we had no more problems with that. But, on her break, she would come out and pump milk and would feed the baby, or at lunchtime, spend a little time with me and then go back to work. So everybody's got a different situation and how they deal with living at home with their kids. We also have an older son, and he stayed in his room or he did whatever he needed, but he knew that mom was off limits from certain hours of the day because she was trying to make a living. So I just had to give you that story in regards to that everybody
powerful.
has to deal with working from home in a different way.
Yeah, that's powerful. I recall seeing my wife having to pump milk in the Zoom call.
Resilient dad. Hold your thought real
no
quick,
worries,
bro.
no worries.
I want to acknowledge a few people coming in. Miss Sweet Ree, what's up, Sweet Ree? TX Lala been in here getting to speak. Miss Tracy Anderson, Hey Cherry Hey still in here, as well as Sandra living a full life. I want you to finish your thought, brother. I just want to say this real quick. When Miss Shirley was saying that, I think that this is potentially one of the answers or reasons why this trend may continue to grow, because that's just an example of one individual. But let's say you got two individuals in the household in that space where maybe, and I'm gonna try to preface this with this, I think as a part of human nature and conditioning, everybody needs to feel needed, right? This could be a potential opportunity for families to bond in ways that they haven't in decades, because whereas daddy and mama had to physically be on site, if you have the ability to work from home, you can have mama come over, and if she's available and willing, help with the kids for that 8 whatever hours a day. daddy can do the same thing. It's a chance for families to potentially, I ain't saying it's going this way, I'm just saying potentially reconnect and rebond, and maybe even before mama break out and papa break out, the family have dinner together again like they used to in the before time, in the long ago. So I'm not saying that it's a guarantee that it's gonna go one way or the other, but that little bit of optimism in me has no choice but to acknowledge the potential benefits. And for those who continue as time progresses, because like motivation said earlier, somebody got to flip switches and turn knobs and do this. Hopefully those who are in the position where they have to do on-site activities, they will be appreciated and respected for their invaluable efforts to whatever company, corporation, or business they are part of. But y'all, please go ahead. I think a
You
resilient dad.
know, you said something, and I think is important. I believe, and I'm not eternal optimist. You can never,
Me neither.
no matter how much technology you have, you can never ever replace the human factor, that ability to touch a person in ways that the robot can't, in ways to serve that person the way a robot cannot. So I'm an optimist when it comes to that. I don't think you can ever replace the human factor, even though they're trying with these lifelike robots and that's supposed to learn you and all, but it's still not the same thing. It's still not the same. It's not. I don't think it ever will be.
Yes, ma'am. I don't disagree. I do not disagree. This is an interesting point that I would like for y'all to elaborate on. Shia Sunshine said when people were able to go back to the office, it was the people that needed time away from their loved ones, be it the kids, mainly the spouses. One guy said that only the dog missed. Oh wow, yeah. So what do y'all think about that?
Facts. Well, that's true.
I mean,
According on how
that's
chaotic
obvious.
your household is.
Yeah.
I
It don't matter
recall
about
growing up,
chaos.
to that point, I recall growing up when my parents used to brag about, not even brag, they would say, you know, some of their coworkers would brag about them. I go to work, so I don't have to hear my wife. I go, you know,
Yeah.
back in the day, and
Right.
Yeah, heard that
it's
too.
still present to this day that I see, of course. But the generations are changing, and I think that now the presence is people want to be at home to cancel what they don't want to deal with, right? And I think that that's the nuance of it all, right? But back in the day, for sure, I recall even working with people when I first started in corporate. They will brag about, yeah, I'm taking this conference, I'm taking this or that and the third, so I don't have to be at home. And these are like people with distinct titles, you know, high up, like saying this type of stuff. And I was like, man, how does that? I was like, maybe I'm different. It's like, I don't want to be here with y'all. Like, I want to be at home.
Yeah.
And you know what else about that is that when the pandemic hit, divorce rate went up,
Yes. I was gonna say,
domestic violence went
Yes.
up,
yes.
Yes.
suicide
Yes,
went
ma'am.
up,
Yes, ma'am.
mental depression went up. People did not know how to be around each other for 24 hours a day.
But you
Yep.
It was blowing up families. I mean, people were packing up and just walking out because they couldn't take you looking at you all day long. And I'm
Yeah.
like, I don't get it. Did you really love me? Whereas you can't stand to be around me for a 24-hour period. It,
yeah, Miss Shirley,
And
it kind
I
of
don't
blew
mean
my
to
mind.
laugh, but it's
Miss
so
Shirley, I
true.
was going to say
Yeah.
that you know what, a lot. I think what the pandemic also did, it exposed bad relationships that were hidden before the pandemic hit.
Yeah.
Because there were a lot of people that really didn't get along that well before the pandemic. But when you got had got forced to be stuck in that same house or whatever with them, then whatever those problems are that you kind of ignore because, oh, I love him so much. Oh, I love her so much. He's so fine. Then all the hell broke loose.
Yeah.
And then you started seeing, what was I thinking? So
Yeah, the real.
in those cases now,
The
my
real person.
husband and I, we were friends before we met. So the pandemic didn't do anything to us. We had a ball. Actually, we got so accustomed to sitting there together till 2020. We were supposed to celebrate our 25th wedding anniversary. That day just came and went, and we were like, yesterday was my anniversary. He's like, our anniversary. It sure was. He's like, happy anniversary. I was like, happy anniversary. We kept on going because that was not a point of contention. So all those little things that people avoided or ignored before the pandemic hit, if it was not a strong relationship in the beginning, that pandemic exposed everything.
Totally
Very true.
And I think through the pandemic too, my wife and I understood a few things. Man, when I tell you we were mad friends, like friends.
Yes.
But it made us realize, oh wait, I'll leave at like 5 a.m. You'll leave at 8, right? We both got to take the train in the city back and forth. I might leave later, and from the city back home. But we had a couple of things or rituals that we had that we would never compromise, right? And we really got a chance to sit together. It was like, man, we ain't killed each other yet. We might as well, we might as well turn this thing up.
Yeah.
And I think that was something that too, it kind of, I don't know how many people are like used to that amount of silence or that amount of alone time. And I know it's not for everybody, right? But for us, we realized like we really appreciate, that amount of silence that we had. It actually made us stronger, in real ways, but yeah.
Exactly. I agree.
But
what boggles my mind is how you said you love somebody till death do you part, and you hung together for 24 hours, and you really trying to bring that death do you part real soon.
Stop, Miss Shirley. Stop, Miss Shirley.
And it's just like you guys were saying, you guys were real friends before you got married. So that made a difference. You knew all your little, quirks and quarks and idiosyncrasies and what have you. So therefore, when you got locked down together, it just didn't surface. And then you had to deal with it. You already knew this is what this person is about. And you love it and you dealt with it and you didn't have a problem with it. But for the people who did not have strong enough faith in one another to get through this little simple hard time, they weren't going to go any further, no way.
Miss Shirley, you said they were trying to implement till death do us part. Look, a lot of them couldn't even get past in sickness and in health. Some of them didn't even get close to the death do you part. They couldn't even get past in sickness and health, and richer and poor. They couldn't even get past those areas. So of course, they wanted to jump straight till death.
I done learned. I think the only person up here on this panel who might claim they older than me is Miss Shirley, and then Miss Jones try to act like whatever. But look here,
baby, I'm 67. I'm 67. I'm older than you.
Well, you and Miss Shirley let you tell it. But look here, life done taught me something. When the rubber meets the road, you really get met with certain adversities and certain circumstances. They bring out a character in you that it shows you who you are. It shows you who your lover is. It shows you who your kids are. And there's a professor called Louis Gottman, and the Gottman Institute. He and his wife do some really phenomenal work about relationships, love, yada yada, whatever. What's up, Anything is Possible? How you doing? Welcome in. Thank you for being here, family. And while you at work on top of that. But I said that to say there's all manner of way to put equity into a relationship. And as you grow and build that equity, when you have to make those withdrawals because of things like the pandemic, when you have to make those withdrawals because for the first time in maybe years, y'all been around each other 24 hours a day for a week straight.
Yes.
You have to rediscover one another. And it's like, oh, I didn't even know that about you, because it is people out here working 12-hour shifts on that side, 16-hour shifts on that side. You know somebody and you know them, but you don't know them through a circumstance that was outside of both of y'all control.
Exactly.
So like what Miss Shirley said, like a whole bunch of people had to rediscover one another all over again, and they come to find out they didn't like what they discovered. So
Yeah.
you know, as how this ties into employment and what's next and where we going forward, I think we're seeing a revamping of potential as far as what we see exist already, what we see growing, what we see happening. Where do we go? What do we do next collectively? Because although there are industries who I think would love to see a return to the old, I'm of the mind, for a lot of different reasons, that it's only it's gonna continue to grow in the direction that it's going in the virtual space, the virtual world. But I got a question for y'all. When it comes to everything you see now, Miss Shirley made some comments. Miss Shirley had a lot of stuff to say. And it was so many points I was trying to listen. I should have started writing them down, because so much been said since then. You know, when y'all get my age, just keep living. You can't remember everything you hear. But when it comes to being overworked and maybe not feeling fully appreciated for the level of effort that you put into it. Now, in fairness, I talked about the other side of it, because you got managers out here. I talked about Gina. You got people who make you forget about the company per se and think about the effort of individuals who've assisted you. But like Miss Shirley said, man, when you go in and trying to use some of that PTO and somebody tell you no every time, when you try to just call in sick and you being ridiculed or potentially overly questioned, all this stuff stick in folks' mind. And people got put in a circumstance where they had to adapt and adjust and overcome for the sake of themselves and their family.
Right.
I'm saying this to ask this question. I'm gonna tell you how I feel first and then pose a question. I think hustle culture, not only in America, but all over the world, is strong. And over the past 3 years, it's grown even more intense. I've already asked, do y'all think it's going back? The consensus seems to be no, it's only moving forward. Do you think people are tired of feeling draped up and dripped out and used to a point where they just like, I don't care how hard it is out here, because I had to make it these past 2 years. I had to make it these past 3 years. I'm going to do anything except put up with you if you ain't treating me right. So I'm just going to go around the panel, give everybody an opportunity to share their thoughts and opinions on that question.
Real quick, before I drop into the bushes, it's a profound question. And something that I want to preface this by is, when you have an event such as, 2020, and when we all, regardless of your level of income, status, titles, whatever, what you have, what you don't have, when you all had to go through that collectively, right? That gave everyone a level of understanding and almost like balance at the same time. And when you move out of that, you can't move out of that acting like, man, this never happened, right?
Right.
So when you understand how real it got, and everybody is just human beings, when you move out of that, you have environments that would assume that, hey, it just happened and we'll just phrase it like this, or the opposite like this. But really, at a human level, that is not this. You're not the same anymore. Everyone is different. right? And we have to have that opportunity to observe that and show respect to that, right? And for that, when I think about, moving forward to how we continue to build or grow, you have employees, right, regardless of what level, that are going through things, people that lost family members or friends or people that they known or even coworkers, it's still losing them because of what happened in 2020. That's something that you have to have. We call it EQ, right? Emotional intelligence. You have to have emotional intelligence about, because if you don't have that, you just want to be business minded or whatever you want to be, right? You're going to create more of a problem than needs to be created, right? Like, for instance, all this, all that stuff that's going on, like for people just finding no outlet, right? And they're spending all their time at work or reporting something or not feeling value or what have you. I've seen this so many times over and over and over again, not only in the US, but in other countries. And I think that it's time for us to take a break, take a step back, and really show value to the time that people are spending, even though, it's a transaction. It's, nobody goes to work for free. Everybody's at work to, get a check. Nobody goes to work for free. I don't care what you say.
For sure.
Right?
For sure.
Everybody know we're here to get paid. You can put a company values, anything, right? Everybody knows the company values ain't gonna pay the rent. You stop paying me 1 week, the second week I'm gone. Everybody understands this, but we don't say it. But the thing is what's driving people, one of the parts of insanity, not knowing who they are, is something like this. It's like the lack of respect to what they had to endure just to even be present. And I want to encourage everybody just to take a moment, regardless of what you're doing, take a moment to respect somebody else and showing up,
Yeah.
That's all. I think I went a little too deep. I'm trying to.
No, you good, fam. I'm just listening. I was listening, bro. Go ahead. I think Miss Shirley or Miss Jones was finna say something.
I think
That was Miss Jones.
I think the work culture itself has completely changed. There was once upon a time, I mean, it's changed on both sides, worker, employer and employee. Once upon a time, you were valued if you showed up for work. Now it's more of an attitude, you're just expected to show up for work. My husband was working a job and he became a very valued employer. And so what happened was somebody in his family got sick. And the employer told him, you can't leave. This is your job. You have to do it. And my husband looked at him and said, oh, wait a minute. I'm not asking your permission to leave. I'm just asking you if I leave, can I come back? And that's how that conversation is. He said, because you may dictate me at work, but you cannot dictate my life. And he knew that what he did, he could not easily be replaced. So part of that responsibility is on the way I was taught, and I think Miss Shirley was taught the same word. Make yourself so valuable to when you make a request, they can't deny it. You have to do that. Do your work the way you're supposed to do it. Become a valued employer. And then when you make a request, I guarantee you they won't be so quick to replace you. They will understand that they have limits in your life. And so that has kind of disappeared. And also now employers, they want the product. They're more concerned with their profit in and not the value of that person working, because they keep forgetting that if these people don't show up, I don't even have a business.
Exactly.
So that loss is there somewhere along there. That was lost because now they're treating people like if you hire, oh, you really desperate for this job, so I can treat you any kind of way. No, that's going to have to become a unified mentality where everybody stands up. I will work, but I will not accept the abuse. But if you can't get that kind of unity when you work, it's going to continue the way it is, and it's going to get worse. Where we live at now, that, like I said, the prison here, Mother's Day,
I saw that comment.
Nobody showed up for work. All of the female employees, well, all but 3 of the female employees did not show up for work because it was Mother's Day. And you got a huge facility being run by literally a total of 3 men. I'm sorry, 3 men that showed up. That's it. You got an entire prison facility being run by 3 men for a whole day. That's a dangerous situation. So, and I could see it if they weren't getting paid, they got decent salaries, they got good medical, they got all these things. But that attitude, you just walk and you don't give notice. So there's rough on both sides.
Mm-hmm.
At some particular point, we got to come somewhere in the middle ground, and that's the only way it's going to change.
Yeah,
I think we have a conversation that will only grow in its intensity, because the example you just used, that's not only is it dangerous, that it's dangerous. If you know what I'm saying, you got dangerous, and then you got dangerous.
You got lethal.
Yeah, we talking about real life and death, or at least the potential for the two. And I think as things go and continue to grow, I think this is just my personal opinion. I think this conversation will become more and more prevalent over the next months, years to come, because people, like you said, it's on both sides. You got half the people saying I've had enough, and you have half the potential employers or existing employers saying, what else can I get from you at minimal cost? And businesses are designed to make money, but the human element is gone from it to such an extent that I remember working with dudes when I was a young man. I'm in my 40s. Some of my first like big boy jobs, real jobs. I'm working with cats, they looking at me and they'll sit back and they like, boy, you crazy as hell, because I'd be picking up stuff, putting it on pallets, and they like, the old men looking at me like, you better save your back. You better use that crane and quit picking up this stuff like you He-Man and doing this and doing that. And now that I'm the age that they were then, these were cats that had 3 or 4 kids. Their wife just, may have been a homemaker or maybe work part-time if she wanted to. And they held down the fort. I'm talking about dudes that got 2 kids in college, one finna graduate, and they were still able to do it. The economic changes that have happened, the pay scale indifferences that exist, all of these things are contributing factors to the current state that we find ourselves in. And I think it's going to get worse before it get better, because everything is still leaning towards fever pitch that ain't hit all the way yet. But baby, when it get here, I think that's when you're gonna see real changes. Now, this ain't advocacy for one thing, one way or the other. I'm not making no arguments. I believe conversations are important. And for what Miss Jones just said, like, and a resilient dad, man, it's people out here like, oh well, I'll start over. So you got the people saying, oh well, I'll start over, and you got employers saying, it's so many of y'all in desperation. I know you're gonna work, and even if I only get a month or 2 out of you, that's a month or 2, and I ain't finna put in a whole bunch of effort or time into retraining. I think that model is pretty much it's asinine at this point, because I don't see companies putting the same amount of effort and level into training that they once did. So it's a struggle and it's a battle on both sides, and who's gonna come out on top, that's yet to be determined. But baby, it sure is something to watch, ain't it?
Yeah, it is. What I have seen,
you know what those
go ahead. Shirley.
I was going to say that, and I've seen just the opposite lately, that older employees, trusted employees that knows the business, that could train the young ones to pick up where they
Mm-hmm.
left off at,
Mhm.
getting pushed out the door.
Exactly.
This one man I know
Yes,
for
ma'am.
a fact, he worked 43 years on the job. He should have been a VP. And everybody, he was well liked. Everybody knew how knowledgeable he was. And one day, 2 security guards walked up to him and said, "You're fired. Let's go. No pension, no thank you, zip."
And yeah,
Walked him out the building.
he was devalued. He was quickly
Yes.
devalued. He was devalued. But let me tell you what that's coming back to bite them. I'm gonna tell you how that I've seen through my kids and stuff like that. Because like my daughter has a job, and where she works, she's had to train people over her to get jobs better than she, because she did not have the so-called education that they did not have. Well, now these people are so desperate, they have now offered her an extremely high paying job, even though she does not have the education, but they cannot find anyone at that so-called education level to come to work because they're not being valued. So now they become a
Yeah.
desperation. And those older workers that they're kicking out the door, so many of them, they're trying to beg them to come back because they are not getting the service and the quality. Let me use that word, quality, that they once
Yeah.
had. So it's coming back. It's coming back. It's you know they say what goes around comes around. It's coming back.
Let me tell you what happened. I was on vacation. I wasn't even in this country. I was in Jamaica on vacation. Do you know they called me?
See, that's what I'm saying. What I tell you? What I tell you?
They called me. I looked at the caller ID and I was like, "Are they serious?" I didn't even answer the call. I turned my phone off. I was in the water. I was out there floating on some water, drinking me a Mai Tai. I wasn't thinking about them folks. I was like, "Are you serious?" And when I came back to work, nurses literally ran down the hallway, wrapped their arms around me, and was kissing and hugging me and saying, "Oh, we so glad you back."
See?
I'm like, "Well, what happened? They didn't send somebody down here to help y'all?" They was like, "No, we were on our own. We didn't know where half the stuff was at. We didn't know how to deal with the doctors because you wasn't here." I was just laughing. I was like, "Oh my God," I was laughing all the way down the hallway. It was ridiculous. And now I've been retired almost going on 5 years. You know, they still haven't found anybody to take my spot.
Miss Shirley, let me tell you something. I can name you 4 of my friends who retired, and they're still trying to call them back to work.
Yeah,
So
they blowing up my email.
Yeah. So when you devalue people, that's why I'm saying you devalue people and trust technology. Now you have technology, but you have no people. So you can't have it both ways. People are valued. You know, we're the baby boomers. We're the ones that they said
Yeah.
know nothing, can't do nothing. But we were the ones
Yeah.
that had a higher work ethic, which was not taught. And if they'd have kept some of the older people around, they could have taught some of the younger ones, you know, some things that they need to know. And then maybe we wouldn't have this problem. But like you said, we got a certain age, boom, see ya, wouldn't want to be ya.
And you know what? They waited till 2 weeks before my last day on the job, tried to bring a young lady over to me and say, "Train her." I looked at him. I was like, "It ain't gonna happen." No.
That's right.
2 weeks before I leave. I was like, "There's no way this child could even come close to knowing the knowledge I have." Then they got mad because they wanted me to leave my resources. I was like, "No, y'all ain't getting them." I walked out of there laughing my butt all the way to the elevator with my gifts and my party they gave me.
Hey, welcome in, Ghetto. I want to welcome in Ghetto and M&T Living and Cooking. Thank y'all for being here.
And I want to tell you quickly, I enjoy being here, but I got to drop in the bushes. Got some things I got to handle, and I love you all. And keep talking about stuff like this, because the problem is we live in a society that's afraid to talk about anything because somebody's going to get offended. Well, guess what? That's part of the human factor. But
Yeah,
y'all be
tell me
blessed.
over it.
Y'all be blessed. Yeah, you get over
All
it.
right, take care.
All right.
Well, thank you, Miss Jones Truth, and that's part of what I appreciate, even hearing that, because that's what we try to. Hold on a minute. Let me turn my camera on and give my thanks. Thank everybody who here. Hold on. I ain't got my. There we go. Thank you everybody who here for being here, and thank y'all for participating in the conversation. Cause somebody got to talk about it, and the only difference is talking about it with respect and points of view versus everything being a going at this person. Sometimes people create an opposition, or they may create an enemy or somebody on the other side of how they feel internally, so that this can be whatever. But at the end of the day, I want real people, grown folk, to have a real conversation about how they feel about stuff, what they've been through, or what they currently going through, or what they aspire to have happen in the future, so we can have some real grown folk conversations about this kind of stuff, man. Because people live in this
But you
right
know,
now.
Jay,
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. No,
No.
I was just saying, we me and Jones Truth touched on it. Work ethics is on a whole different level nowadays. All right.
Yes,
a lot
ma'am.
of these people don't have work ethics, or they don't even know what work ethics even mean. Like they said, they want to come in, they want to make enough money to pay their phone bill and their car note, get their hair done, or have money to go to the club for the weekend if they show up for work, especially if they
Yes,
got a
ma'am.
special thing going down at the club, and their work ethics is altogether different nowadays. I know in today's society, they will work you to death if you let them. But I also know the younger ones don't have the same type of urgency about keeping a job and promoting themselves on the job, where they can get to a different level on the job. I've had young people come in, I see them on the job, and I try to pull them to the side and tell them, you need to tighten up that attitude, or you need to actually do some work. I was like, don't think they don't, they're not watching you and don't know what's going on. And then I don't see them. And then I have a couple of days off, and I come back and I said, I ain't seen so-and-so and so. They said, oh, they let them go. They fired them. I knew it was coming. I see it. And people feel like once they get into certain jobs, oh, they in there. No, they not in like playing. No, people are tired. If you can't do the job, you out. We need folks who's going to actually do the job, And I never seen so many, hiring in the windows since the 80s, maybe.
Yes, ma'am.
And I'm
Yes,
just
ma'am.
like, everybody's hiring. I don't care what kind of job it is, from McDonald's to the big corporate. They're probably hiring up in the White House. People just don't work and care like they used to. It's a whole different generation out there.
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead, bro. Okay. I think it's on both sides. I think I agree with you 100%. Work ethic for me is what saved me. One of the things that saved me from a lot. I've always been a hard worker. I always put my foot into it. If I say I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna do it. What's up, Erica, my fly family? I just, people are different, and I think the other side of it is how that transition came about. Because I think we in a generation now where we see people not only seeing their grandparents being unappreciated, seeing their parents being unappreciated, so they taking a different approach. And in turn, it may not come out in the best way, but I think it's a combination of the two. I think it's horrible potential work ethic at times, and I think it's a combination of some of the employers having a lackadaisical attitude towards their employees. I give you an example, because you said something real interesting when you said you haven't seen signs like this where everybody hiring back since the 80s. The 90s was a booming decade for the states, for the U.S. and much of the world, but maybe it's not incorporated into that idea that a lot of stuff was going on in the early 80s. A whole lot of stuff happened between Carter and Reagan that made the world kind of change a little bit, made the states change a little bit. Corporations blew up. Corporations were growing. But you also had, in an industry, pick your industry, pick whatever industry you want, you had 20 competitors that had the option of how they will or won't treat their employees, and now you only got 6. Let's say if one day, how many people? Okay, perfect example. So we got 4 people up on the screen: myself, a resilient dad, Miss Shirley, and Gina versus Gina. Now that's basically a monopoly, and let's just say we own our own platform called YellowTube. So we own YellowTube, and everybody got to come through us in order to have access to YellowTube. Now, if it wasn't just me, African Dreaming, Gina versus Gina, Resilient Dad, and Miss Shirley, then you got 500 other platforms just like this where people can go. They ain't got to fool with us. They ain't got to do this, do that. But whenever you have something cornered, whenever you have a monopoly over something, you can treat people however you want to, because if they seek employment, they really ain't got nowhere to go. So with that being said, I think it's a both sides type thing. In addition to what work ethic has become, because people just feel like, they don't care about me, I ain't gonna care about them. The working somewhere for 20 or 30 years and getting the gold watch and the big retirement package and maybe even being sent on a trip, all of that stuff's gone away. Folk, they know them people don't care about them. So now you got a whole generation showing up saying, Miss Shirley, have you ever heard of quiet quitting? Quiet quitting.
Yeah.
That's what these folk doing. That's what a lot of these folk doing. They go in, they do the bare minimum, they give the bare minimum, because they expect the bare minimum. So
and they did it.
they did it. They still doing it.
They did it.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Coming from your era and your generation.
Totally agree.
Go ahead. Go ahead,
yeah,
bro.
Before I jump into the bushes, totally agree. I think that what's been expounded on this panel and through this conversation, almost 3 hours, I think that that's something that, people, we can digest this, right? And we can figure out what resonates with us and then move forward with that in a productive way. I want to ensure everyone knows moving forward, it's already happening. Like, if you don't understand the motivational factors for anybody that's working with you, it's hard to be able to keep them, right? And also with that, you have to know, do you even want to understand the motivational factors to keep them, or are you here, to figure out something for a point in time? I think that understanding has to be, it has to have clear understanding on them, because otherwise we'll be spinning our wheels, and especially when we're trying to approach not only the generation that exists, but even the generation that they create.
Yeah.
So with that, to the top, guys, much respect.
Well said.
I'll be in the bushes.
See,
thank you for that.
But what's so funny though? Like, now they can, offer you anywhere from $10 to $15 for even the teenagers working. Let us make 10 to 15 hours back in the day. Man, we was Rockefeller, because it was a different standard of living then. I was making $8 an hour part-time in high school, and I thought I was, big bucks, because the cost of living was entirely different than what it is today.
What you
So
You
the
was big
what they
bucks, Miss Shirley.
yeah, that, I know it was. I kept money in my pocket. I stayed
I
clean
made
all the time. All the time.
$4.25
Had a
an
little money in
hour.
the bank. Yeah, please. Like my mama used to say, I was clean as a chitlin. I just like,
Hey,
Mm-mm. That
that
was a
was
I
it.
want to
lot.
thank you. Thank you,
Yeah.
a resilient dad. Thank you, a resilient dad, for coming up. We still got my sister, Gina versus Gina, Miss Shirley up here with me. Uh, I just want to say before everybody start dipping out, before we move around, um, you know, and that's what's getting everybody. I think, like Miss Shirley said, $8 an hour. I remember I had started working. Ooh, man, I feel old. I remember when they took it up to 425 in Texas, and baby, when I man, woo, what was it? The extra. Oh man, I feel real old because I want to say it was like three something, and I remember when they went to 410, and then that 425 was a real big deal, and I just the world was cheaper back then. It was a different world. It was a different experience. Now everything else done went up around us, but wages do not match the
Nope.
cost of
Nope.
living. It just
Nope.
don't. And
Nope.
I remember, and it depends on where you are geographically. Y'all ladies over in Ohio, hell, I'm over here in Africa, but I'm from Texas. And I remember when I moved to California, and I went from $4 an hour. Starting wage was 11.15, I think, 11 something like that. Back in back in the 90s, you couldn't tell me nothing. It ain't nothing nobody in the world could tell me because I'm making 11 some dollars an hour back in the 90s, and that was like straight baller action. That boy, I'm talking about. I'm stacking bread. I got money in the bank. Never hungry. Sending pictures back to Texas. Now I ain't had no cell phone with no camera on it like that back then. Matter of fact, I ain't even sure if I had a cell phone. I know I was still writing letters, so I'm showing my age. I would write letters. I was doing snail mail back to Texas, putting Polaroids off in there, going to get them
Mm-hmm.
developed. And I was balling out. But what are y'all? This gonna be our last question, ladies, and I just want both of y'all to elaborate on this. Tell me what y'all think, how y'all feel. From your work experience, from the time you've been in the workforce to what you see now, everything that we've covered tonight, talked about tonight, as far as like Miss Shirley mentioned, work ethic. One of the questions was, is they hiring, or y'all just lazy, or what? And Gina touched on that, and she had some real good points because everything everybody said has made sense. I'm asking y'all, what do you think, and what do y'all see regarding this topic moving forward?
It's gonna get worse before it gets better.
Okay.
For the simple fact is people still feeling like they're not being honored on the jobs. A lot of these jobs, I'm finding out, they're not even training you anymore. They ask you when you come in for your interview, have you ever been in the food industry? And if you say yeah, they say okay, and they put you behind the counter, or they might give you a day or two of training on their machines, but they don't teach you how to deal with customers. They don't teach you how to be on time and what is your specific job to do or get accomplished during the course of the day. Then you got the ones who want to stay on their phones all day. This is why they had to come out with the rules that you can't bring your phones out, keep them in your pockets. They don't want to see them. I mean, they have developed so many rules and regulations on some of these jobs. So these kids don't want to be bothered with all of that. They just want to come in, make their money, and go. And I'm not saying it's all of them. You got a lot of kids who have decent upbringings here, and they do have work ethics. and they
Right.
do like their jobs, but they don't
Yes, ma'am.
always train them enough for them to deal with their jobs according to what they're doing. And like I said, customer service to me is a big thing. I can't stand calling someplace and getting these automotive things where you got to press 1 and you listen to the whole menu and none of the
Mm-hmm.
menu is where you want to go. So now you
Mm-hmm.
got to hit other numbers just to get somebody to answer it so they can transfer you somewhere else and hope you don't get cut off before you get transferred. And then if you get cut off, you got to come back in line again. Oh, you're number 85 and you have an hour and 45 minutes to wait. Beep. Are you kidding me? My patience is not what it used to be. Okay.
Yes,
When I'm
ma'am.
trying to take care of business, I don't have all day. Even just because I'm retired don't mean I want to spend my whole morning
Right.
sitting on the phone waiting to listen to some lousy music and then get somebody and they'll tell you, oh, you got the wrong extension. I say, the last girl I talked to, I told her what extension I wanted. She transferred me to somewhere else and they tell me I'm in the wrong department. She transferred me and I done talked to 4 different people and I still haven't gotten what I needed done out the way. So between customer service being my pet peeve right now and kids who do not know how to talk to you when you putting in an order and when you get to the window and your order's still not right, and then they tell you, oh, we can't exchange it at the window. I told you what I wanted. You didn't give me what I wanted. Now you're telling me I can't exchange it and get what I came for. I was like, just give me my money back. I don't
Right.
have to deal
Yeah.
with it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's just, things aren't getting better. They're getting worse.
No,
That's all I got to say.
No, I understand. I understand. I don't disagree. And I think those are the contributing factors into why change has to come one way or the other because people are tired. People are tired of you already getting, you're not getting what you're paying for. And then the quality of service behind many of these things. And it ain't even just food service. I mean, you can try to call for help or assistance with something that you
Doctor's
can
appointment.
only do. Doctor's appointment, so much of what you can only do by talking to an actual person, and you got to go through 4 or 5 automated steps before you can get to that individual. It's exhausting. It's tiring. Most of the time when people make these calls, and that's what I mean why I say I take the human element, the human side of this so important, because if you calling to make a doctor's appointment, unless it's just your regular annual checkup, you ain't just calling for happy times, man. You already thinking about whatever you dealing with. You just want to talk to somebody and establish that communication, set up your appointment, and go on with your day. And that's why I think if companies don't really put that level of interpersonal or personal communication back into it, it's just gonna be a problem. Ms. Jones said that, it's only so much you can do that can replace what a human is and what a human does. And one of the most sophisticated situations amongst human, in my opinion, is not only intimacy, it's compassion, it's understanding and relatability. Now, if it's possible and feasible to completely teach some of the programs that may answer these phones, that I don't know. I don't know. It could be, but my goodness, man, they got a long way to go. They better get up on it.
Yeah, I think this is just more piggybacking on you can't have it both ways. So you either got people who gonna work and do the job. I mean, I get it. There are companies that don't always value their employees. Sometimes it's not the company, sometimes it's the management for that particular department. But when you feel unvalued or undervalued, then you have a choice. You don't have to stay there. There's other companies. However, if people are not going to do the jobs, if they're going to leave the companies, and then new people are going to come in, or you're hiring people who don't pick up to be able to do the job, more AI is going to come in. You're going to have more computers answering the phone when you call, because guess what? If they can get that person to answer some simple questions, they may not have to have a person there to answer the question. Sometimes I worked in customer service before. One of my first jobs was customer service. Most times people push buttons through the buttons to ask you the question they could have got from pushing the button. And it's like, you're undervaluing my time at this point, just because you want to hear my voice tell you what the computer could have told you. I know you don't want to talk to the computer, but that's what it's there for. It was frustrating, but you know, with that, it's just that these things.
Oh, that's deep.
It is. I hate them
That's
though. Don't
deep.
get me wrong. I hate those computer systems. When I call, and most times, like I'm like, Miss Shirley, my option is not one of the options. So where's the option for a person? Because I need to talk to a person. But I know why they're there at the same time, because sometimes the question is a simple question. When is my payment due? How much is my payment? What address do I mail it to? Well, those are push button answers, you know, instead of a person having to take the time to say that when somebody else has a question that's not one of the push buttons. But, you know, I think that sometimes it is.
Hold on now. Hold on now. See, I ain't trying to make this no longer than that, because I ain't want it to be too long now. But you said something, so you actually got to be a part of that on two sides of it, and you actually, like, you understand the why behind the why, and you saw it all unfold.
Yes.
So like damn, I don't even know what to say, because that's like, that's kind of heavy, man. That's kind of heavy, because you understand, you saw it getting put in place and you did it, and now we at where we at now, and
just think, even for the hiring process for some companies have where you go log onto the computer and you do a personality assessment. They ain't even got to talk to you. This assessment is going to tell them if they want to talk to you or not. A computer. It's just, there's so much that takes place where people aren't sitting in front of people, reading body language, reading how the person answers questions and those type of things. Everybody is doing things because they don't have the time, because one person may be doing more than one job. Their job has been layered so much because of people who won't take jobs. And when you mentioned the training thing, Mama Shirley, if I interview you and I ask you if you've done something before, yeah, I am a different place. But if you've done it before, I shouldn't have to train you ridiculously long to do this job. So either you couldn't do it at the other place, and that's why you're struggling to do it here, or you lied about having prior experience. Because that's why a lot of places look for prior experience, because that's going to cut back on the amount of training they have to do. So it's, it's just a lot. It's a lot to put in, when it comes to these, are people being lazy or not? I think it's both. They are and they're not.
Yeah. I agree. Because first off, I don't think utopias exist outside of heaven. It's gonna be somebody who later, somebody gonna be somewhere toiling and laboring, and somebody gonna be sitting on a branch, playing a guitar. And
exactly,
it comes with territory. It's a part of human existence. I think what's so interesting right now is that we are literally at that crossroads where we seeing yet again another example of the what was coming to the what is, or what's to be rather. And I wonder, I don't know, are we clinging, or are we accepting, or some of us doing both? Because like automation is not going anywhere. I think 20 years from now, I may have to talk to another person before I even talk to let's say I just want to pick up the phone. I want to talk to Miss Shirley, and I just dialed a number instead of going straight through. I might have an automated voice be like, "Are you sure you want to talk to Miss Shirley?" And I gotta say, "Yeah, I want to talk to Miss Shirley." Yeah, that's why I called her, didn't I? And then they'll
Yeah.
be like, "Okay, patching," like how operators used to be back in the day.
Yeah. Patching
I mean,
through. Yeah.
that's something else Miss Shirley said earlier. Everything what goes around come right back on around again, baby. It might look and taste and smell a little different, but it's the same thing. It's just in a different way.
And Gina, when I said that, that comment I made was from experience. When I got hired on the job, I didn't tell them I did that work before, but I worked in the building in a different department, and they gave me maybe a week worth of training and turned me loose on my own. Now this is a high profile department I was working in, and it was, for the most part, I was able to kind of, how they said, put your own program together. But what was so bad about it was that I'm in a hospital and we had a code. I never did a code before. Folks is looking at me and I'm freaking out because they calling a code, and I'm trying to make sure I'm calling the right people or pressing the right buttons, and they looking at me, "Did you call it in?" And I'm like, "Oh, wait a minute, I'm trying." You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right.
That's
Just put
like
me in a very
triage.
awkward position. Yeah, but by the time I left up out of there, I could do everything and teach two other people at the same time. But it's just that certain jobs have different levels of awareness that a new employee needs to know, and they don't always teach you all that. A lot of that stuff it happens as as you're on the job. You don't always get the OJT. It's always something they're gonna miss that you're gonna need to know. And honest to goodness, it'll happen to you every time. The stuff you don't know is what's gonna smack you in your face. So that's the only reason I made that kind of statement, is just that every job doesn't train you like you need to be trained. And then they kind of throw you out there to the wolves, so to speak. Some of us swim and some of us, sink. I got it together real quick if I wanted to keep that job, but it's just not, in everybody's a resume saying that, I can do everything that you want me to do. It's not always.
Well, that's different. I feel like if you're getting someone without experience, you have to train them up.
Yeah, you would think. But it's not always the case. And like they said, they will let go one person and pay 3 people off that same salary.
Yeah,
So,
depending on where it's at.
Yeah, that happens too. That happens too. When I was younger, I was working summer jobs and stuff because of a program that I qualified for because of our unwealthiness. And even though it was just a summer job, the first 2 days we got paid just for and it was like cleaning up at schools and stuff, janitorial stuff. I done worked on trash trucks, did all that kind of stuff. They spent a whole 2 days teaching us how to throw trash on the back of a truck, or how to scrape gum off the bottom of a desk, or how to mop and do all that kind of stuff, man. So we the culture has really changed as far as the time spent with making an investment in people. And I think in some situations gains and have replaced what was once an expenditure that went towards the bettering and making potential employees or recent employees a more knowledgeable base. But ladies, I know that y'all got stuff to do. I have to
I don't. I'm retired.
Girl, hush. Miss Shirley, don't be rubbing in everybody's face. Ain't nobody ask you all that.
I'm finna drink me a cold beer and sit down and prop my feet up, and I'm finna chill out. I might take a nap.
That show sound good. That show sound good. I want to thank everybody. Anything is possible.
Hey, I earned this. This was not given to me. Believe me, I earned every second of this relaxation. Believe me. They didn't give me this. I had to earn this.
I know you did. I just want to thank everybody. Y'all
Thanks for having me.
Yes, ma'am. Many times. Tell everybody about y'all channels before y'all get out of here, please. Miss Gina, no, you come on after Miss Shirley. Miss Shirley, when you coming on again now?
Tomorrow night, Thursday evening, 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Miss Shirley, the OG. Oh, show me that you like me.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Big sis, when you doing your thing again? I believe Friday, ain't it?
It's Friday. I'll go live Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. I don't know what we're talking about this week yet. It's still marinating.
Okay. Well, I'm sure you have your crown in place, baby. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Always. We might talk about watermelon for 2 hours. How about that?
Hey, I want to thank my moderator TLC for being in the garden. Being in the garden.
She be there. Should be there too.
She be there. I want to thank her for being in the chat and for dropping these links and supporting. And sis, I appreciate everything you do. We appreciate everything you do. I want to thank all my guests for coming up. A Resilient Dad, Motivation from the Weightlifting Geek, Gina versus Gina, Miss Shirley OG Gardner, as well as Vision Preparedness. Y'all make sure y'all check my man out for Bug Out Weekend. Anything is possible. We had Fiona up in the chat. It was a couple of comments I want to get on, but I ain't trying to hold y'all ladies up all night. Somebody's the Winning Walk with Christina said, man, they hired 125 or had the option to hire 125 folks at her job last year. 2 people showed up, and the only one left is her. I want to thank Love and Live.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a lot of people. TX
I can believe that too.
Man, it's crazy out here. It's not just crazy, but between potential viruses and illnesses and this and that. And I wasn't even going to get into this tonight because I'm finna wind down. But now, folk talking about a doggone fungus going around, and it's just everything make you wonder. Everything make you wonder. I don't know what's going Country and Yankee, thank you for being here. What they say, I applied for a job. Let me put it up here. I applied for a job part-time just to see how long it would take. They called me the next day and have been pushing for me to start as soon as possible. I'm being stalked. I said it's out there. They said the work out there if you want it, I guess. It depends on what kind of job it is. TLC had a real great point earlier. She was like, everybody got signs in the windows, but are they really hiring? I don't know. That's why we had these conversations. That is why we had these conversations. But ladies, gentlemen, I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all so much for joining. Let me turn.
Thank you for having me. I'm going back in the bushes. Nice. And Jay, give my girl April a hug and rub her knee for her.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh,
yes, ma'am.
I also wanted to tell you I loved you the other day on Neckbone News. Oh my goodness. What's this?
I don't know who you talking about. I think what was that? They call him Shamondre. I think that's who that was.
Oh, that was hilarious. That was hilarious.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Y'all ladies, hang on for just a second with me. I'm gonna close this out and we'll talk on the back end. But I do want to thank everybody for being here. I want to thank everybody for their support. I want to thank everybody for their love and coming through, participating. I apologize for missing yesterday. We just got a lot going on. I'm tired. April tired. Stuff been crazy, but my apologies, family. But I do want to say thank you again to each and every one of y'all. And until the next time that y'all see me right here, and I see y'all already know what it is. Y'all already know what to do. We're going to be over here, being country in another country. Peace.
Peace.